Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Publicly Buzzed Live on a Friday night, straight off the heels of a Drunk Turkey Show live. And thanks to everyone that made the jump and came over to check us out. I really appreciate it. All the new people that might be hanging out and all the regulars that are hanging out per usual. Happy Friday. And then, of course, as seen on the Drunk Turkey Show, my brother Dan.
Yo, yo.
What's going on,
Beards
dude?
and beers gang, baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be working some more with the Opinionated Idiot and Drunk Turkey Boys.
Yeah, he brought up he wanted to do it monthly. I think that's an awesome idea.
That is awesome, man. Like, again, like that's how you grow a community, like getting everybody
Yeah, for sure.
involved.
Yep.
Before we get started here, I'm just going to call out some people in the chat here. Threads and Roses, per usual. Pookie, Susie, Jessica Christie, Austin Rains, Lurkin Hooligan, Willow, Kimberly, Dago. Everybody popping in here. Really appreciate it, guys. Tonight we're going to be going over maybe something controversial. This is the 6th version of the conspiracy stream. Please go back and check out the first 5. They're in the lives. It's been about a month since I've done one of these. I was waiting for the special story, the best type of story to go with, to basically so I could have an excuse to use Conspiracy Stream 666. And I think I've ran into it basically by all the new information that's come out with the Brady Giglio information and kind of digging yesterday into that episode. Today I've dug a little bit further with the help of an outside source that will remain unnamed into the Christ Church that's out of Moscow, Idaho. I was talking to Dan a little bit about this. I know Dan's been pretty busy today and he didn't get to dive heavily into this, but yeah, I mean, did you get to really look at anything?
One thing that I thought was interesting is how much they own.
Right. Yeah. Out the gate, the members of this church, they are not making it secret either. They want to make this, and Moscow is a liberal city in a conservative state. You know, it's a party town, essentially. It's a college party town. It's right on the border. There's 2 major colleges right there within 15, 20 minutes of each other. But inside of Moscow, Idaho is the Christ Church. And again, yeah, this congregation, they're scooping up businesses left and right on the regular, and they're making no bones about it. They want to make it a Christian town. The ultra-conservative church on the rise in Idaho. And I found a bunch of different things. One thing that we're going to be watching along with here tonight, and go give this guy a follow, Myth Vision Podcast. I escaped Doug Wilson's cult, the Christ Church of Moscow, Idaho. This is an interview with a lady by the name of Lorena Hieronymous, and she grew up in this church. And this is very interesting. Trigger warning, graphic content warning. It's not visual, but the descriptions may be triggering, just so you know out the gate. We're going to be going over that. I have a lot of different stories here that we could possibly touch on also. Out the gate, what's right in front of your face there. Lots of creepy shit like that is associated with these people. And again, the head of this, and again, I got to this because we found out that the Brady Giglio, what is affecting that is a guy, and even just on Drunk Turkey, we found out the 2 people that are being sued by the Church Christ, by Doug Wilson, ultimately 3 people, and he's suing the city of Moscow, but Gunderson and Nunez, 2 people that were on the scene of the Idaho 4 murder scene, initially, straight out the gate. So in 2020, during the pandemic, this church was pretty adamant about the no mask mandate, as you know, many religious people and many folks just in general were across the country, and it got pretty heavy. Again, go back and watch last night's stream. We covered that pretty in-depthly, but it basically boils down to the grandsons of Doug Wilson got arrested, and not even technically arrested. They were not free to go. They got detained. They were not read their Miranda rights by Gunderson, who again is associated with the Kohberger case. And also, they were suppressing body cam footage when they detained an underage kid and an 18-year-old kid, both grandsons of this man, Doug Wilson. Last night, I didn't know who Doug Wilson was. Today, I do know who Doug Wilson is. And Doug Wilson also has, a company, a YouTube channel. It's called Canon Press. And we'll start off by watching this right here. This is a trailer for something called How to Save the World in 11 Simple Steps. And this will just kind of give us a vibe. Again, trigger warnings on tonight. Doug Wilson thinks that slaves were better off when they were slaves. He thinks that women should be in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant. And he thinks that kids should be getting beaten regularly through K through 12. Let me make sure this is working first.
For most American Christians, the most visible thing that's falling apart is the old secular liberal order. This is something that sort of took root the late 19th century, and the seeds of its destruction were sown in the sexual revolution beginning in the 60s. And we started to bear fruit in our time. We got cancer earlier. We're in stage 4 now. And the patient is about to die. We find ourselves having rented a bad movie. We're 30 minutes in, and we don't like it at all, so we rewind and try again. We can't just turn back the clock to 1950s Eisenhower America and say, okay, let's just freeze it there. The logic of our current rebellion was already at work, and the culprit is this dogma of secularism, that we can be good and right and decent and freedom-loving without Jesus. That's simply not the case. Christians have been told over and over and over, we've evolved, we've progressed to this point where a religious foundation for us here in the modern world is simply unthinkable. It's simply impossible. I'd say, well, it's still a free country. Watch me think it. The collapse of secularism should show us that we can't go back to a pretended neutrality. We have to realize it's Christ or chaos. And if you will not have Christ, you are embracing the chaos. The world needs saving. The answer has been given to us in the gospel. We have that answer. And so what are we to do? Well, we're to save the world.
Just kind of get a vibe from him real quick. And to Dan's point, hold on, let me get the snip just super quick. The amount of businesses that are being scooped up on the reg right now in Moscow, Idaho, and it's in a lot of these different articles as well. People that have leases, people that have even apartment complexes. People are coming and scooping up whole buildings and entities and businesses, and then they're blocking people out that are basically not affiliated with this church. This is a list of businesses within Moscow, Idaho that is owned by members of this church. And there's levels.
This is not a big town.
Right.
Right. It's not a big town.
Right.
So
very good point.
This is a huge list for a town like that.
And not being quiet about make it a Christian town. They're very loud about that. So yeah, the amount of businesses that are actually owned by people here. And then there's levels to this group. Okay. They have elders. And again, you can't question them. It's the old thing. The women can't say anything, like very traditional, old school thought process. Now to just kind of jump over. And again, they are right now actively suing the city of Moscow. And again, officers that are implemented. I found this because of the Brady Giglio stuff. And again, an outside source that will remain unnamed really sent me down this path hardcore this morning, but they don't want to be named. But yeah, like once I actually started really digging into this, and I'll even say maybe even what I was saying on last night's episode would maybe even change a little. I still think that the police were in the wrong for all they did it adds to the mistakes in the credibility, the suppression of the footage, even the Miranda rights and the aggressiveness that they showed towards these kids, that the way it read didn't sound that bad ultimately. But to really kind of dig a little deeper, there was more to it than that, because it seems like this has been going on for a while between the city and the church.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I do want to show, this is long. If we get through it all, we get through it all. If we don't. Towards the end, they start taking chat, so maybe it's more like 40 minutes. This is a lady that did escape this dude. I mean, this is, again, trigger warnings, for anybody that is triggered by actual just language, graphic encounter language. and we're going to dive into this here. So again, before we do, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Please like this video. That helps us out, guys. Get this information out there by sharing. And if you're not subscribed, please sub up, hit the 3 little dots on the side, and then you're going to see some things over there. You're going to see all notifications. You're going to see personalized. I would personally think personalized. I mean, this is probably the one I want to hit. No, hit all. When you hit all, you'll get notified anytime we go live, anytime I make a community post, anytime that I make a video, which is pretty often as well. So yeah, get involved, and we really appreciate everybody for being here. This is opening. I'm going to get those open. Sorry.
God, that was the channel's opening?
Yeah, that was his opening.
It was long.
It was pretty long. It was a minute.
Welcome back to Myth Vision Podcast.
I
have
that.
Lorena
somebody straight away from
Hieronymous
your channel.
joining us today. How are you, Lorena?
Hi, I'm wonderful. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. You and me both have a common Christian background. I was part of the Reformed faith, as they called it, and so were you. And specifically, we're going to be discussing your exit, which there's a lot involved in what has happened from the time that you joined the Christ Church in Moscow, Idaho, which is not too far from where I live today, with Doug Wilson at the head. And so I want to give a quick plug and get these out of the way, and then we'll get into questions. That is, join the Patreon. Myth Vision is bringing you excellent content. I just edited this one.
Yeah, I actually have the Twitter up here too of
Sure.
Doug Wilson.
In case you are interested in.
Now, the thing about Doug Wilson is he's actually getting his message out there. They're sweeping across the East Coast. Like, they are sweeping into the East Coast, rather. They have churches all over the place that are being funded by this man. The YouTube channel alone, this is from his YouTube channel, their YouTube channel. 80, almost 90K subs. This guy does regular reaction style videos. He knows what he's doing. He knows who his audience is, and he's actually reaching them. And when you really start digging into some of the things that this guy, and he's been controversial for a long time. In the early 2000s, he wrote the book that is basically saying slaves were better off as slaves. We could again go through his actual Wikipedia. A lot of that stuff is named out. See, I think there's one that says controversies. Something, maybe not. Discussions of slavery. Wilson's most controversial work is considered to be his pamphlet, Southern Slavery as It Was, which was co-written by J. Stephen Wilkins. In it, they write that slavery produced in the South is genuine affection between the races that we believe we can say has never existed in any nation before the war. Literally saying it was better off. Louis Marcos notes that through the pamphlet condemned racism and said the practice of Southern slavery was unbiblical. Critics were troubled that he argued U.S. slavery was more benign than it usually presented in history texts. Some historians such as Peter Wood, Claiborne Carson, and Ira Berlin condemned the pamphlet's arguments, with Wood calling them basically Holocaust denial. In 2004, Wilson held a conference for those who supported his ideas at the University of Idaho. The university published a disclaimer distancing itself from the event, and numerous anti-conference protests took place. Wilson described critical attacks as abolitionist propaganda. He was also repeatedly denied any racist leanings. He has said his long war is not on behalf of white supremacy. Rather, Wilson claims to seek restoration in prior era, during which he says faith and reason seemed at one, and when family, church, and community were more powerful. In everything I just read, like it sounds more like Charles Manson is talking, with the whole race war from his, like, the Helter Skelter stuff. That's hilarious. The Southern Poverty Law Center connects Wilson's views to the neo-Confederate and Christian Reconstruction movements influenced by R.J. Rushdoony. What a name. Concluding Wilson's theology is in most ways indistinguishable from basic tenets of Christian Reconstruction. So, I mean, this guy, yeah, I mean, he thinks that that the races are superior. He is in a superior race. Like, he is an absolute, actual racist. That term gets thrown around a lot today. But yeah, this guy's interesting. And you want to add anything there, Dan?
No, I'm kind of sitting in shock.
Let's get into this here.
You know,
Again, if you go back and watch last night's show, no clue about this guy. None.
Right.
Or the family.
Investigating
The
for
son, who I mentioned in last night's show, Nathan Wilson, is a well-off, well-published, best-selling author of different types of this type of literature, of Christian type of literature. So, I mean, these people are doing pretty good
further, you can do so.
with
But
this messaging.
I used to be a fan of this guy back when I was a Christian, when I was studying eschatology, because he took a post-millennialism view, and he was here with John Piper, and I can't remember who the other guys are, amillennialism, post-millennialism, premillennialism. Also, he has debated Christopher Hitchens. That's a very blurry visual, but this is how I came across him many years ago. And this is the pastor of this church, in which we're going to be, I hope, educating people on the truth of what happens behind closed doors. So Lorena, if I will, let's start off with something just to give people a little bit of the, I guess you'd say, the dessert, even though we haven't even started the appetizer. And that is, you have many, you've been diagnosed, you have a lot of issues, traumatic issues due to your experience with this cult. Can you tell us some of those before we dive in?
Well, I was born, first off, with autism and ADHD and dyslexia. Due to the abuse that I received at Logos School and from my family in Christ Church, which was condoned by and taught by Christ Church, I now have borderline personality disorder, reactive attachment disorder, 2 forms of PTSD, severe anxiety, and depression.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was like right to the jugular. You know what I mean? And I wanted that. And just so everybody knows, me and Lorena spoke before the live stream. Some of this stuff can be sensitive. And so I wanted to make sure that any questions I asked, like I want to approach them sensitively. And she said, no, just shoot it to me straight. So in advance, in case some of my questions come out kind of blunt and to the point without trying to be sensitive, she said, no, I've worked through this for 10 years on these issues. Just ask the question and I will answer. So I'm doing that for my own sake, as kind of like don't shoot the messenger. Okay.
CYA.
Lorena,
What
tell
we
us.
call it in the business.
What is it?
CYA is what you call it in the business.
Call what?
Cover your ass.
Oh, yeah, right.
About your history, if you will, in introducing yourself or your family to this. I call it cult.
Probably
so I'm going
not.
to probably refer to it as the cult of Doug Wilson, or the Christchurch cult.
Yeah, very
because that's what it
Yeah.
is. And tell us how you were introduced to this.
My family moved to Moscow, Idaho when I was really, really young. They were looking for someone that was like economically stable, and
We're from West Virginia, Tsunami. That's a new name also. Welcome to the chat and welcome to the live stream. Hope you stick around. Hope you're subbed up.
We might see a few of
WV.
those tonight.
and there weren't a lot of disasters, natural stuff, hurricanes, that sort of thing. My dad chose Moscow, Idaho because it fit the mold of what he was looking for his family. And he found, my mom and him found Christ Church shortly after moving there. And they joined it. And that was pretty much how that started. Nothing super exciting.
Right. So you got joined in, you're thinking, or your family's thinking, this typical church. Same thing that happened to me when I was introduced to a pastor of the PCA Presbyterian Church that I once was part of, a Reformed Presbyterian, extremely conservative church in North Carolina. Once I started attending, I'm like, why are we only reading hymns from the 1700s? Why are we only studying men from the 1600s, Puritans and stuff like that? Like, well, what's up with this?
Yeah, at least right now, easy.
And then things got weirder and weirder as time went by. And I suspect the same was for you. So you guys started.
Did you watch the fire video I sent you, Dan?
I didn't know.
Dude, watch this. This one's crazy. Like, the messaging is, of course, Doug Wilson, but the actual visual is crazy. Like, it looks real. Let me know what you think. Tell me know if you think this is edited. Hold on. Do I still have this thing up there? Yeah. This is one of the craziest videos I've literally ever seen. It's 2 minutes. It's just him. Just watch this.
Who was the one in chat that called in the T-Rev?
I don't know.
The messenger?
Oh, the messenger. I did see their messaging. Or their messaging. Yes. And they seem to know a lot about this too.
Yeah.
Yeah, get at me, the messenger, at publiclybuzzed@gmail.com. Anything that you have some insight on, because I'm intrigued as hell in this. Watch this video. This is crazy.
Hey, I'm Douglas Wilson. Welcome to No Quarter November. This is NQNQ. That stands for No Quarter November Quinquennial. That's because this is our
It's
50th
on
year
fire
doing
the
this.
entire time. Like,
So, what's No Quarter November all about? Well, for 11 months out of the year, on my blog and in other places, I am the voice of sweet reason. I always qualify. And one of the things I've discovered is that those qualifications and nuances are diligently ignored. I've determined that being nuanced and balanced like that doesn't do me any good at all. And nobody notices, nobody pays attention. So we decided 5 years
you
ago
still think this is real, right?
Yeah.
Me
It
too.
looks
Watch
like it.
this.
that we were going to start leaving the balance and the nuance and the subtlety out of it. We're not going to qualify anything. So for the month of November, I'm just going to tell you what I think. Now, I'm 69 years old, and that means next year in November, I'll be 70, and I'll be able to tell you what I really think. A number of our critics wonder what we have, what's the thing we have about fire? Why do we burn things? Well, I would want to observe, somewhat mildly, that we're not the ones burning the world down. The world's burning down, and we're simply observing that that's what's happening. Over the course of November, one of the things we do is we're going to be giving away a boatload of free books. There's going to be
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
not
of
real.
new content
There's
dropping.
no way.
Right?
Canon Plus. There's
But
Not
it looks
possible.
real, right?
He couldn't be sitting that close to that inferno.
Watch the ending. Like, that's
Plus the smoke. He would be fucking dying right now from smoke inhalation.
The discount code for the month of November is NQNQ. Could be pronounced Nink Nink or
that chair's
Yeah.
going.
Wow.
That's either the best editing I've ever seen or it's real.
Editing, but there's no way that was real.
Like,
Absolutely
that was
not.
fucking crazy. Like,
It was really good editing though, yeah.
Ending the church, and it seems like you went headlong.
if you can say anything about this guy, he knows how to make a statement. I mean,
Yeah, that was like that caught my attention easily.
dude, when I watched that earlier, that's the first one I watched. And I was like, okay. And then I kept going down a really bad rabbit hole. But
Right.
You're listening to the pastor. So tell us,
yeah,
Did
that's
your
what that was
family,
from.
like-
That's Canon Plus is his production company. They used to have magazines. Like, they've been doing this for a while.
like,
God only
before-
knows how much money. It's one of those situations where if you're part of this church and you're part of this congregation, it's not just, hey, put something in the bucket on Sunday. They're sitting down with you and your family, and then they're calculating how much you make, and then they're seeing exactly how much you should be giving them. That's what's happening
Right.
here.
It's not uncommon.
Oh, no,
in
it's
church.
not. No, not in a lot of religions, right?
Yeah, I mean they'll confront you.
You're right.
Oh, you got that big raise, your contribution should go up.
You're right.
Motherfucker, I've been given the same amount of money for years. That's what I give. I give my contribution.
You're right.
There's actually some hilarious I don't know if they were TikToks or just like little Facebook videos about that exact subject. And actually no, it wasn't even like a skit. It was real life. Someone recorded it and it was a real life thing. That's what I was thinking of. They were confronting the man because he got a big raise or something about giving more money. And he was like, "What the fuck is this? What do you mean? I'm not just going to increase my contribution because you think I should."
Dude. And that's definitely, and like you said, that is a thing that happens in a lot of like congregations or religions or whatever you want to say. But yeah.
It's got to be like a specific, like a very certain. Literally have rules around it.
Mhm.
Even though it's supposed to be like you're not supposed to ask for it, or maybe not ask for it, but you're not supposed to matter. As long as you're giving, right?
Mhm. And
But
then
they
you
still have rules around a percentage you're supposed to give. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When I grew up and I went to church when I was young, I don't remember it being like that. Like the churches that I went to, I don't remember them like requiring you to give so much money. And it's still not required, but apparently they'll fucking hassle you over it if you don't give enough or whatever, if you never give it all. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it really is, dude. Like, I could never even imagine being confronted about how much money, you're not
You
giving
know, I mean,
us. And
giving
then
to
in
your
a lot of these
church.
cases, they're living poor, and those guys are high rolling, right?
Fuck it, right, dude.
It's
Like
fucking, it's
giving
messed
to a
up.
church is like a generosity type of thing, like where you give it when you can, or if you have extra available and you want to give some of that to the church, do it. It shouldn't be required to fucking do it all the time and required to give a specific percentage. That's insane.
This is nuts, though. Yeah.
For that, were they Christians? They were just part of a different kind of Christianity, and then they got here and they were like sold on a whole different level, or what happened?
Yeah, my dad was raised Christian. My mom was not. She got converted in college and then she met my dad and they fell in love and got married. And it wasn't until joining, as far as I know, because I haven't really talked to my dad about what his beliefs were prior, but I doubt it was as extreme. And when we moved to Moscow, things were not as extreme. Of course, Jim Wilson had his book out about spiritual warfare, and it was kind of his thing, but it was not
Are you
anywhere
looking at chat,
near
Stevie?
what it is today at all.
Are you looking at
It
chat?
was a
No.
lot smaller too.
What's going on?
That
Chat?
person that called in the T-Rev wants to call in here. But I'm confused now because there's a whole different user. No news is good news with Kim New.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't know what's going on there. Why did they switch users?
Yeah, let me see what I can set up here. Give me a second.
Yeah, let me take a short break. You set that up, and I know we basically just started, and I'm already taking a break for God's sake. But
I'm gonna keep this playing for just a minute. But even if I do that, I have to set up a Google thing. So give me
do
a
that.
second.
Set that up, and don't forget the voice meter thing. Right?
Oh shit.
We'll have to do that, and we'll probably have to walk through that. But
I still have that on my thing.
yeah. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah,
Okay.
just we'll have to set it up with Google Voice.
Cool. Yeah, let me keep this rolling for a little bit, but we'll definitely do some. We'll see what's going on here and get somebody. See if we can get you called in here.
What is this extreme you keep mentioning? Tell us, in what way is Doug Wilson's church extreme?
That's a deep question because there are a lot of ways. There are a lot of ways that they're very extreme. Currently, they are promoting a book at their, I guess, publishing company called Canon Press, and it promotes Christian nationalism, not just in euphemism, but in name.
So they're not even hiding what.
No.
Okay.
No. And they speak about spiritual warfare, and they're currently in possession of the majority of real estate downtown, from what I've heard. They preach against women having a voice or opinions of their own. They're very misogynistic, very patriarchal. Abuse runs rampant there and is accepted because the husband is the Lord and he is in charge, and the women are supposed to just take it.
In many ways,
I
hear.
Yeah, and then you've got the kids that, later as adults, they come forward about sexual abuse. And during those times that they came forward to the church, it was covered up and they were told not to go to the police. We have a lot of different examples of that. A lot of survivors have come forward. And then there's also the physical punishment that they dole out at Logos School, which I experienced in depth.
I read an article before we did this. I was reading the article that was done. I closed out the app. It's in the description here. Let me double check my description here. It is the Vice article pertaining to this cult.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. What I have to do is
article they were referencing the school.
I have to set up the Google number, and then I have to get Dan to help me with one other part once we get in here. It shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, I can't just do it like right out the gate. I have to set it up through our system. I use this thing called OBS Studios, excuse me. but I've got my part set up on the side here. After Dan gets back and we get that set up, I will send you a private message back and let you know what to do for sure, though.
This logo school,
Mm-hmm.
and how in their policy they give you in clear fine, like right there for anybody to read, like, we will discipline, we will spank, we
Mhm.
will put them in janitorial punishment, they will have to like mop toilets and bathrooms and the whole nine, and we will spank in the school, right? And there are very few private Christian schools in the United States that still practice something like that, but they practice this K through 12. Do they do this to 12th graders? Do they spank 12th graders?
No, but my
Hey,
brother
Blue, what's
was.
happening? Thank you for popping in here, brother. What an awesome night. Thank you guys again for having us on, man. Like, so fun. Like, you guys kill it again, man. Like, I like the idea of like opinionated idiot, Bryan, all of us getting together and doing some regular shows because, man, the vibe is real. Like, we definitely all flow really well together. All kind of have the same mindset of like, and even with Bryan being sober, right? Like, that didn't even matter. Like, doesn't matter at all. That doesn't matter in any part of life. I have tons of sober friends. That's not what I'm saying. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, the flow is still there. Like, I loved it, man. It was fun as hell. Big Blue.
Yeah, that was really good. That was awesome.
That was
I love
cool
that
as hell,
show.
man.
The suggestion to do it monthly is awesome. I think that's a great idea.
I like that too. So I got the Google thing set up. I need to do the other part you said.
Yeah, the voice meter. I can't remember how that. So you got to open voice meter like the app itself, and then you need
unless
to
she
do.
can get in Discord. Don't know.
Yeah. Does she have Discord? That would actually be way easier.
Yeah.
Do you have Discord, Michelle?
Because we can actually just pull you into our room. Join that. You could try it that way, but we could still do the Google number way also if you want to try it that.
Yeah. Because I remember you had to.
Kissing
a girl in the park. They were both.
Yeah, they just said that they kicked 2 people out of the church for merely kissing in the parking lot.
Wow.
Unwed. Sam, happy birthday to you. Thank you for popping in here. Hope you were well.
Discord is not for everyone. I could tell you that.
Did she say
It
something?
can be tough. It was Inanna Shu said she gave up Discord because it aggravates
I
me.
know. I get it.
Once you get used to it, it's a little easier. But man, yeah, I've actually seen people review Discord, like talk about it, and the interface is not.
It's not
super-
user friendly at first.
It's not.
But after
yeah,
I
it's
get
tough,
it, I love it.
tough to get used to.
Expelled, and he was made to pay the rest of her tuition for the year.
That's really weird in light of how they want to like hook.
All right, she's in. All right. So now, Kim,
Pop into the waiting room.
can you see that waiting room over to the side under voice channels? Can you click waiting room and it should pop you in there? I just said hey to you. And then we can drag you into this chat.
I wonder if I can just drag her from. Probably not.
I tried.
Male and female up and like create this family.
Now Discord's free.
That's
Lurkin.
not until they're old enough to get married.
Yep.
Hey, thank you, Opinionated Idiot, for the $2. Great hanging out with you too, man. We were just saying like how excited we are to hopefully, do some regular shows together, and just start doing some panel stuff and grow this thing, man. It's fun as hell.
School, you're not even allowed to be. It's not that you're not
We
allowed
are
to be
expanding
friends
our
with
village, right?
a different gender,
100%.
but it's not encouraged.
Not only a community of people who watch us, but people who also make content creators, other
Mhm.
content creators. It's the way to do it. It's the only way to do it, really.
Kim, do you see to the left? I think it's to the left. Dan, last time you showed them on your phone in front of them. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dan might be able to show you here.
Let me pop open Discord on my phone here.
Yo, Drunk Turkey popping through. What's going on? We got Daniel, got Big Blue in here. Welcome, guys. Thank you all for popping in here.
At all, and it's really
So
looked
if
down
this is
upon.
what you see here, like this is the chat for the
Hold on,
channel.
let me put you on the main cam.
If you swipe, so swipe left, and it pulls that up, and then you should see this waiting. Oh, she's in there.
Okay,
Nice.
sweet.
Hello, Kim.
Kim,
or
you
Michelle.
were on Publicly Buzz. What's going on?
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't how do I turn on my
Oh, you don't have to turn on your video.
Yeah, you're good.
does it take up a lot of power if I turn on my video?
It probably would on
Well,
your
I would
phone.
actually
Yeah.
have to do something else if you did that. Yeah, we'll probably just do audio.
Yeah, you don't have to turn on your video because we'd have to. Yeah, it's fine. Audio's good.
Yeah, I use a different system than a lot of the other streaming channels. Like they use StreamYard and I use OBS Studios, and it's a little like I'd have to do a little bit more work to get your camera in here, but we can get your audio in. Like you're on live right now.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Let me now should I be
Oh, what happened?
You still there? No, you're good. You're good to go. Like you can just start talking. You're ready to rock and roll.
okay, because I'm getting feedback, so should I turn off YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
Turn off YouTube.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, I had to turn off YouTube. I was getting so confused. Oh my god, you guys, thank you so much.
That
You're
does
here
make
tonight.
sense.
Happy Friday.
What's going on?
Well, I mean, I guess what's going on is Christ Church is coming up a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the road I've
So-
gone down today.
So how I found Christ Church was it was kind of like a weird thing in November when everything went down. I was looking through some stuff and all of a sudden No Quarter November came up. And I looked at this video like you guys were watching earlier with him
Right.
burning the computers.
That video's crazy.
Right? And I saw these videos. I said, "What is this?" And I was just clicking on it for the shits and giggles. And this guy, I knew about Christ Church, but I wasn't like, and I knew about some stuff about Moscow because I had started doing research. But like I said, this just kind of happened upon me. And I started watching his videos, and I found the one where he's burning the truck to be super significant because
I haven't seen that
it was talking about burning evidence. If you play that one for your audience, that one is indicative of the fact that he has thought crimes. He talks about having thought crimes, and if you want to be like a criminal through the ages, criminals and having thought crimes, known how to get rid of evidence.
Okay, I'm
Wow,
looking through here
okay.
right now, trying to see if there's maybe. I wonder if there's
So,
trucks burning on the
type in-
thumbnail.
Just type in No Quarter November, Cannon Press, and then a bunch will come up.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, I
Okay,
do
and
see a
this
boat and a
is the
truck.
one.
Okay,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wow.
That's the one.
he likes this to set shit on fire.
Oh, so
That
yeah,
is
and
what he was saying.
arsonists-
What? There's a couch.
Yeah,
Okay, let me play this truck one.
but the one with the truck, this is significant.
Welcome to No Quarter November. Thanks for coming back. You know, thoughtful criminals through the ages have known that one of the things you need to do after you're done with your crimes is destroy the evidence, destroy any evidence that you've been there or that you had anything to do with it. And we should also point out that I'm not a criminal, but I am, however, a thought criminal. I'm afraid that in this beloved truck of mine, in this truck, I have committed many thought crimes. These thought crimes have been the sorts of things that have drawn the ire of people all over the world. The thing you want to do is make sure that your thought crimes are not thought crimes in the eyes of God, but rather simply in the eyes of man. So then, you don't want to be guilty of thought crimes as far as God is concerned. You want to be approved by God. But you do want to be guilty of thought crimes, the kind of thought crimes that Amazon and Facebook and Twitter and all our thought leaders, thought cattle prodders, thought regulators approve of. You want a metaphor for Western culture, right?
These videos are good.
These videos are gripping, bro. Like,
Jesus.
They're very gripping. They have a lot of impact, and that's what he's trying to do because he has to speak to his audience. See,
he's got a lot of money too, and like the production behind this editing is not cheap.
Dude.
Like, this is professional. Like,
whoever's coming up with the idea for these videos, the production of these videos, the directing of these videos, like, he has a top tier team. They're very well done.
yeah. So I can speak on that because I've, when I was bringing up my kids, I was trying to be a good mom, and I was trying to get involved in some of these big churches. They do have a lot of money. They have video production people. Boise, Idaho actually just signed with a film production company. It's some company. I would have to get you guys the information, but it started in 2019, this film production company. Nobody knows a lot about it, but Idaho is actually a big time movie production place now.
wow,
It's becoming that undercover.
interesting. So there's even going to be more money flowing through there.
That's correct. And there's a woman that was working for a property developer over there who there's an interview with her on YouTube who she talks about how she had the idea to create a town of the Game of Thrones and name all the streets for the different names in the Game of Thrones. So basically they're trying to buy the property and do all kinds of stuff with the whole Kings thing. And it's like going back to the Vikings, really, with where you have your dukes and your kings and your dames and your queens, and your masters, right?
Wow. That seems like that falls right in line with this guy's ideology, right?
Yeah.
Well, that also matches up with the Sigma Chi fraternity because he's been teaching from my research. What I'm gathering is because he's been in the town so long, he's had a great influence for a really long time undercover. But people do know about him, and because he graduated from U of I, he is a Sigma Chi. You see, there's your relation.
Yeah.
And so he trains the boys very well to keep secrets.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this
there's
is crazy.
the connection.
And that stuff, man, fraternity stuff, sorority stuff is very cold, like, just, on its own.
Correct.
And then you've got this guy. If this guy is like, he's one of the top dogs.
And again, I showed it earlier, all the businesses that are owned by members, like, they're sweeping up everything in Moscow, Idaho to make it their own, Christian community.
Correct. His son Nate Wilson and Aaron Wrench, who is also, affiliated with this case in ways too, with the Idaho, aside from the sticker gate, they just finished the purchase of David's LLC on Main Street downtown in Moscow. I believe it was in December of 22. So they just got their property, LLC. So they had a few before. They have a few of them because they don't teach you this in school. But one of the two biggest things that are going to make you money are stocks and real estate. That's Why do you think all those people are rich?
Yeah.
Yep.
And stay rich.
Right.
Yeah, this is craziness, man. Yeah, again, like yesterday, I was doing like the story, basically figuring. Literally, I wound my way into this with the whole Brady Giglio stuff, and then found that Gunderson was a part of this. You know, the lawsuit that he
Yes.
is suing the city of
Yes.
Moscow, and yeah, I didn't even like like today has just been kind of like, what the actual hell is going on in Moscow, dude? Like,
Oh, what I want to do is send you the link. I'm going to send you the link to what I found today, which is fantastic information. It is a link to the case of Stickergate with Douglas Wilson et al. Moscow. So it's Doug Wilson et al. Moscow with all the documents,
oh,
all the way
I was looking at that yesterday. Yeah, that was on my
with
live
all,
last night.
with all the documents,
Yeah,
with
like the
Gunderson and all.
actual
Yeah.
lawsuit of them, like the actual
And
lawsuit of them suing Moscow.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
If you
showing
do
last
it,
night.
yes. So
Yeah,
all
that's
of
that.
those
I was
really,
looking at that though, and like I wasn't even going down. I was actually more on his side, and I still actually am with actually what was going on. Like I still think that the police were like overstepping the bounds in a lot of ways there. But
right.
ultimately, what I figured and stepped into has been like a whole different pile of shit. Like,
Well, yeah, I think that, Douglas Wilson, he's got some stuff to say. He's, like, hey, I'm a Republican. I don't like this mask shit. In other words.
yeah,
And I'm not going to take stuff from you cops. And they do say that because they have that show Caught Red-Handed, which is one of their art production film little production YouTube channels. They have a bunch of YouTube channels. But this one channel, it does show on the end of the video, it says, "We know you have the body cam. We want it." And it shows like the police with the body cam. So they're making like a FU, basically like we know you got what we want on body cam and we're pissed.
yeah. Yeah, that whole thing reading was actually pretty interesting. And even going back, tying it back into the Idaho, 4 and Kohberger stuff, seeing the Gunderson slip up when he actually mentioned the footage that they were trying to suppress and then have to actually bring it out.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. Like, I don't know. I have, and again, just to tie it back to the Kohberger Idaho stuff with the police department, like, this guy definitely sucks, but like, I have no, like, the confidence level in me, like as I was saying on the Drunk Turkey show earlier, like the confidence level in me with the police has went down so much.
I think the police are having a hard time. I really do, since COVID, with all the defunding, and then there's a lot of a corrupt police, so they have to get rid of. Well, what happens when you get rid of a police officer? Well, you got a pretty pissed off guy, right? So
Right.
he might become a criminal. He
Right.
has the potential. That is the potential. When you let a defunct police officer go, that is the potential for the criminal activity. You have no idea, because not only have they been in the system, but they know how to get out of the system.
Right. That's true.
So there's a whole nother issue right there. So I think that's what's going on with Moscow PD is you have some good old boys, and then you have a few good men. You know what I mean?
Right. And yeah, and when I say this about the police department, I'm not throwing them all in the bus, no, by no means, and I'm also not anti-police either. But time and
Me
time again,
neither.
in different cities, different towns, different states, there's always some corruption lurking.
There is some corruption lurking, and I do think that it has to do with, like, I'll be honest, because Christ Church is all over this nation. I think that anybody who is affiliated with that church needs a new brainwashing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, somebody's gifted a membership, or no, subscribed for a month. Mountain Mama
yeah,
subscribed
Mountain
for a
Mama.
month.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And said
Mountain Mama.
to ask
Appreciate that.
ask him if this guy is the pastor visiting Bryan.
Whoa,
Yes.
is it?
Yes, and I believe so, yes, and I'll tell you why. Because if you look up a lot of the articles on Doug Wilson's church members, they have been arrested for sex offenses.
I've seen
And
that. Yeah.
You've seen that,
Yeah,
right?
I've got
And
one of
they
those pulled up
always,
right here. Yeah,
yeah.
the child. I'm not the what this. You can read it.
Child, yeah.
A lot
Shouldn't
of this
say
is
it,
there's a
but
lot of this, and he tries to
Yes.
basically get these people out of
CP
these.
charge.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is he's got a reform program through his church where he's got deals with the justice system. He can walk up in there and go, hey, this guy is a member of my church. I'm gonna, make sure that he's on the up and up in my church. We got a program, because you know how the churches go into the jails and stuff, and they got little reform stuff going on. So Douglas Wilson has it set up where he's got this whole thing through his church, and he brings in the criminals. You know what I mean? And then the town of Moscow, of course, gets kickback from the state of Idaho because they need a place to put all the sex offenders when they get out of jail. So all the sex offenders get like motel rooms, they get housing with, housing paid for a few months so they get on their feet. The Moscow, this is all part of the whole system. But yeah, Douglas Wilson, he's definitely visiting Bryan. And I'm probably because he's trying, probably because to keep him shut up.
Wow.
And keep him. There's either to keep him shut up, or I don't know what his other motive to visit Bryan would be, other than like you better not say a freaking word to tear down my church, or else I'll have you and your family freaking killed. And I bet that's why his sisters didn't lose their jobs. That whole family's probably in witness protection. I can guarantee you right now.
Wow. That is insane. That, like if that came out, like, really came out where we could actually see him going in. That's what sucks. We talk about it over and over and over. We won't really know anything for about 3 more months or whatever, but if we could really see him going in there and he is the person, because we've been seeing the articles that he, that Bryan has been doing religious, actually going. So he was a Catholic though, right? Bryan, he went to a Catholic school in Pennsylvania.
That's why I think he could be involved, because if there's like a connection to the church, because there's a Christ church, there are Christ churches in his township. I was looking that up.
I was reading that too, man. These guys are sweeping across the nation right now.
Yeah. So there could be a connection there, either to his childhood past or his parents. You feel me? So there's something we don't know there. There's something.
Dude.
And then the whole thing with JNet, how the kids got busted for drugs the other day, but JNet the head JNet belongs to Pennsylvania. So that's the drug trafficking people that got
I
in
saw
the
that
middle
story.
of the arrest with Emma.
Yep. The fentanyl story.
Correct. So JNet works from Pennsylvania and works with other states to capture drug offenders. Now that's interesting because Bryan's from Pennsylvania. So what is going on? That's kind of where I'm stuck in a little bit, like, oh my God, what is Bryan's real involvement here?
Too many weird connections, man. And we don't know anything, and this is all allegedly right now, but like if his parents were somehow connected to this church at one point still, like, because like when they go
Right.
out and a lot of these religions, when they go out and try to, for lack of a better word, conquer other areas, they're going to send out part of their congregation, right? There's going to be people sweeping across the nation that are a part of this. Again, I'm going to
Correct.
throw allegedly on there. I don't fucking know, but his parents could have been, part of this Christ church moving out towards Pennsylvania and the East Coast.
I think so.
Like,
I mean,
that's pretty wild to think about.
I really think so, and especially with the sisters and the whole, there's something that's not adding up. And then here's another thing. I was looking at Rory Wilson on LinkedIn. Rory Wilson, his LinkedIn shows Columbia University. Columbia University is in New York. That's where all of the Christ churches are. We're like, that's where the head of it is, right? And that in San Francisco. So you got East Coast, West Coast, San Francisco, New York, New York. Those are the two. They talk to each other, like the two towers, okay? And then you have so Michael Kohberger, Bryan's father, shows as a security investigations officer in New York in his LinkedIn. Rory Wilson shows as Columbia University, New York on his LinkedIn. So Rory Wilson now has an alibi that he's in college now at Columbia, not his father's college.
Wow.
So that's interesting because Columbia University is in New York. So that would give him the alibi to have been gone around November.
Right. Huh. That's interesting.
Okay. That's interesting. And then another thing interesting is I found a department specialist because I went through the Moscow budgets for all the way back to 2018. And I was looking at what kind of equipment they were buying in their police department and who they were hiring. And in 2022, they wanted to hire a department specialist. It said in 2022 that they didn't hire the department specialist, and then they had to redo all their equipment. So that means they were scrubbing. And who was the department specialist was Krista Overmere. But Krista Overmere's LinkedIn now also says she's in New York. So what the fuck is going on in New York is my question.
Yeah, man, that is craziness. Yeah, there's way
So,
too many
yeah,
weird like connections that, or coincidences, really.
So and that's the whole thing. We don't want to get caught up. I think on the Subconscious Mouth had called into T-Rev, that was like a big thing last night too, was you don't want to go get everybody distracted from what's going on, right? So
I've seen
we gotta
Subconscious Mouth's videos. Yeah, I saw one of them where he was basically saying that right there, like it's muddying waters, right?
we gotta kind of reel it in a little bit, and all these names coming out and stuff. It's just kind of, it is a lot for a lot, and it can get misconstrued and overwhelming.
Yeah,
I do admit that.
That's absolutely true.
So what he said last night was a really good point. Like, hey, we've got to focus. Like, if there's something to be looked at about these people, let's do it, but let's do it in the right way, right?
I just want to quickly point out to you, Kim, that people in chat are saying that the Michael Kohberger that you found on LinkedIn is likely not the Bryan Kohberger's father.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. It's just that there's only two of them, and it's just interesting.
Yeah.
And then what's up with the connection? What's up with the Michael Kohberger Gonsalves? Have you guys seen that guy?
I don't think so.
There's a Michael Kohberger Goncalves that I have a picture of that I found on LinkedIn too. And I'm finding all these people on LinkedIn. Like, LinkedIn's a great resource, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, a lot of people share names, and they could just be coincidence, right?
Correct.
That is
correct.
Nah,
Yeah,
man, and that's where we are at on this
speculation.
show a lot of times, and this is the perfect show to talk about stuff like this. This is literally called a conspiracy stream.
Exactly, yeah.
But at the same time, like, how many times have we talked about this numerous times? If you went down these roads and then you run into real shit, so.
Stevie has called me out many times for being the guy that kind of reels it back into reality.
And that's what I like, honestly. But Kim, I am going to keep plowing through this video of Lorena Hieronymous. Have you watched any of this? You familiar with her?
Yeah, I've watched a lot. I've watched so much on this, you guys, so much. And I really like her interviews, and I like her articles with her. There's a really good Vice article that you should
I've
check
got
out with
that
the
up here
audience.
too, actually.
Super good. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to let you guys go. You guys have a great, I'm going to keep watching, and I am going to watch your lives. You said something in the beginning of your show about that you had a series of these, right?
Yes, go back to
So-
my
This is the
lives.
sixth one, yeah.
This is the sixth
Yeah,
one. Check
and-
these out.
That's what's up. So I'm going to be watching those over the weekend while I'm doing all my stuff. I'm
Hell
going to
yeah.
be watching you.
Hell
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so much.
calling in here.
Yep.
Have a
Thanks,
good night.
guys.
And yeah, we'll see you in
You too.
chat.
Okay.
All right, that was awesome. Hell yeah. Yeah, and I mean, again, this stuff is, there's so much, like,
Yeah,
and it's
I
easy
mean,
to
there's
get
a lot
down
of-
in rabbit holes and
exactly, yeah.
I do it all the time.
No, absolutely. And I mean, this guy here, I mean, this guy is probably connected in some way anyway, just because he basically owns the fucking town, right? There's going to be something.
Hieronymus, AZ. Sorry. But yeah, he's owning the town. He's scooping it up fairly quickly.
You're not supposed to really interact with individuals of the other gender.
So this is something I've heard him say in the past when I was studying eschatology, because he's a post-millennialist. And this is stuff that you may not even care about or even
I
ever
just now got my
investigated on
notification
this stuff
that
because I'm a
we're
weirdo.
live.
That's how it works.
Yeah, well, he talks
Insane.
about post-millennialism as a partial preterist, and he kind of looks at the world, the physical world, as a spiritual warfare battleground. So where most Christians I've come across, like, we got to pray and Satan's got to get out of here. Like they really, when they're saying they're doing spiritual warfare, they're really like just arguing and fighting against spirits.
Bubbly calling out
Like they just
trolls.
imagine like the invisible realm out there. There's some like demons or whatever.
Or are they?
Evil
Could
spirits.
they be?
He, on the other hand, seems to be like spiritual warfare
I'm a bit
is
of a
like
troll myself,
buy
so-
up all the real estate in the local property. Let's literally conquer the physical world and make this the kingdom of God. Like, let's implement the law of God in the land. And it seems like this tight-knit bubble of Christchurch is trying to enforce that.
They are definitely doing that. And a lot of more liberal individuals and even other Christians are leaving the town. They no longer feel comfortable there. While other people that don't realize how bad the abuse is, or
I haven't even
that
hit the like
exists,
myself.
are
Look at
pouring
me.
into
Bitch.
Moscow to attempt.
God, I'm not contributing to my own.
They
About to hit
also
100
have
here.
spread out
Getting there.
as far as the East Coast. They have churches almost everywhere now.
3 more. 2 more.
And
Bump
my
her
parents
up.
actually attend one in Florida, in the CRAC.
Where the fuck is
Okay,
Mosh at tonight?
Personal question.
Where's the hype man?
Your parents, your mom and dad attend one?
Mm-hmm. And so does my oldest brother.
How does that work? And what is your, if I may, what is your relationship with them at this point?
Absolutely.
Before my interview the other day, I was on good terms with my mom and dad.
I'm
They
crushing
were
these
aware that I
beers.
was going to be doing this.
How many you went through?
I don't know, but I'm about to get up again.
Shit. I've
This is
done,
the
I've done
second
3
time
drinks
during
here.
our stream. This is the second time during our stream.
Damn.
So I'm sure
You had to
I know
catch
there's
up.
gonna-
You had to go get your wife.
That's true.
So you're
That's
playing catch
exactly
up.
right. I know there's going to be 1 or 2. I'm not going to name names that are going to talk shit about me leaving all the time.
He's breaking the seal. He's done broke the seal is what he's done.
But I have not been able to reach my mom since then. And I don't know if she's just busy or if they're taking a step back.
Wow. Well, I hope that this doesn't ruin that. And I hope that maybe they'll hear and maybe consider some of the things said through your story and maybe something I drop as someone who may not have gone through the same things you did, but has gone through an extremely cultic, very, very
There we go,
controlled type
Pokey.
group that wants to control how the husband
Pokey getting wild tonight. Pokey getting wild tonight.
runs the wife and the family. Let me just lay this out here in case your parents decide they want to listen. They showed up to my house and my wife was working at the time. I was trying to find a decent job and they were going to convince her to quit her job because she's supposed to be a stay-at-home mother and raise her kids. And they were going to pay. I know there's people in the chat. They're going to troll right now after I say this. Dude, I'd have took that offer. They were going to pay our bills till that kind of family dynamic was changed. That's how much control they want of their members.
Yeah, that's extreme.
Doesn't that sound something like what we're talking about here in a way?
I've never heard of something quite like that, but that's exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They do want the woman to stay at home, have no voice, just be in the background, cooking, cleaning, whatever. The kids stay silent. You're seen, not heard. Women are the property of their husbands, their fathers. And when we don't, once we have kids especially, we don't work. We
Right.
just take care of the home because that's all. We're basically domestic slaves.
Mm.
That's all we are to them. We're livestock.
I think there's some truth to this, what you're describing here. Let me ask you this, though. Do they show up to your house if you don't come to church on Sunday? Or would they
No,
elders
but
possibly show up?
they might invite us over for dinner, or they might come over for dinner or something like that. But they don't just show up and knock on the door and say, "Where were you?" You know, they're
Okay.
not quite that aggressive. As far as I know, when I was there, I didn't see anything like that. There was a point when I was finally old enough to say, I don't want to go anymore. And I did.
Mhm.
And nothing ever happened. But I was known for being rebellious and in sin and not bearing fruit.
Hell yeah, Pookie.
Right.
So I
Getting
don't
crunk
think it was much of
tonight.
a shock to anybody.
He was
I
getting
figured
down in
I'd ask,
Dago's
'cause that-
channel earlier, man. He was playing all kinds of good beats. Good old songs. He played one for Pookie. I got him to play a crazy one, man. It was fun as hell.
that's what happened to me. If it wasn't
this
just from one
a whole
Sunday,
evening
I
started
missed two
off
in a
right.
row. They showed up and were like, "You do know that like Sunday is the Sabbath," and I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah,
if
where's Mama
Christ
Bear?
Church Reformed Doug Wilson thinks that Sunday is the Lord's day, which
It
would
is.
mean they replace the Sabbath with Sunday.
Mhm.
That's the kind of reform. So you and me, believe it or not, we stem from the same kind of roots of cult here. Let me ask you, well, real quick, we got a super chat.
Yeah,
I do want
to Kim's point here, they do it subtly. I mean, that's how they do it, right? Like, they move you in before you know what's happening. You're already with a guy. You're already being wetted up. You're already having feelings of feeling bad if you don't do this or don't do that. And then after you're in, and then after you're married, and then after you're trying to get out of this abusive relationship that you're literally just a piece of meat in, then you're being forever, shunned in that community. So you got to move. And if you don't, you're being harassed by the members who are, messing up your property or stealing from you, or maybe even physically attacking you. Like, messed up.
to take it because it's relevant. Will leaving separate you from your family if you leave? Jehovah's Witnesses are horrible about that. Very terrible.
Yeah. If your family doesn't agree with it, then they stay and you are shunned from not just, it's very much like the Jehovah's Witnesses. You are shunned from the community and you are shunned from your family. I actually have a friend who was shunned from his family because he is trans.
Okay. Were you ever a member? Like, did you ever become a full-fledged member? Therefore, did they send you an excommunication letter, or did they excommunicate you from their church?
Well, I was raised and baptized into the church. I have no idea if I was
It was
ever under
fun.
discipline
was
or anything
cool.
like that because I just didn't care.
It was for the
I
real
never paid it. I
Jesus.
just cut everything
That's what
out. I
I
was like,
say.
okay.
When the real G's are in here and it's the real motherfuckers that stick with you through thick and thin, that's what I call that stream. That was awesome.
Okay, bye. I'm out. Like, I never fit in anyways. Screw you guys. And I left.
You sound like my wife. My wife was the same way. She was like, what is this letter?
We
of
just hit 100 likes. I appreciate the hell out of that, guys. Thank y'all so much. That was going to do a lot for the algorithm, that evil algorithm that I continuously battle here on YouTube to try to grow this channel. Appreciate the hell out of it, though.
Communication. I thought when we became members, it was like all the other churches where you just show up and you're like, hey, I'm a member. Cool. Like, no, this was like legal documentation, like almost like the papal from the Roman Catholic Church would have sit down like we're excommunicating
Thank you so much, Willow, for
It was
the
on that
99-cent super chat.
It's
super
not
sticker.
quite Jehovah's Witnesses,
Appreciate
but maybe
that.
depending
Thank you
on the
so much.
household
Seriously.
situation,
Real G
on
right
how
there.
they're going to treat you. What does Christ
Been here
Church
for a
think
long
about you
time.
right now? Do they know?
Right.
Where
I
they at with this?
assume they do. I don't have any friends that are in Christ Church. I don't know what they're saying about me or what they think about me, and I frankly don't give a crap. Their opinion doesn't matter to me. I'm sure they're not very happy, but I think
it's
right now they're
raining.
not realizing
99 cents
just
in here.
how
Thank you,
much
Willow. Appreciate
weight
that. Seriously.
the things I say
Amazing.
are going to have, and the effect they may have, and the amount of views I'll get. At some point, they'll start calling me a lumberjack dyke and whatever else Doug Wilson likes to call women. But hey, I now identify as a lumberjack dyke. My pronouns would take back the night and F Christ Church. Like, sure, I'll take it.
This leads me to
when Dan gets back, I'm gonna have to see a man about a dog. That's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm sitting here sipping on this drink. I'm just looking over to the left. It's right there. It's right there, just looking at me, bro. Holy shit. $10 coming out right now. If I can get that up on screen. Bam! $10 super chat. Appreciate that, Kim. Thank you so much. And yeah, gift and memberships out here also. Mountain Mama. Yeah, they get crazy in the chat. If you're hanging out in the chat and you're new here, make sure that you turn the gifts on. I think you actually have to go in and physically turn your gifts on so people can give out gifts. That happens all the time. Mountain Mama is notorious for giving out gifts. She is an absolute, again, an OG of the channel. And she loves to rain gifts in here. I appreciate the hell out of that, Mountain Mama. Seriously. Y'all don't even know.
What are some of the traumas that you experienced in your upbringing in this church?
There you go. I'm relieving you of your duties.
There were a lot.
Oh, was you listening?
For me,
Yeah.
it was
Give me 1
a
second.
lot
Let me
of
just see this
gaslighting
man.
and manipulation. A lot of being taught that I had no value or worth because I was a woman. So outside of a
Uh-oh.
man, I was
$4.99
nothing.
super sticker. Willow's raining it now.
If I didn't
Raining
act
them
a
in here.
certain way, I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
So I grew up hating myself because Eve ate the apple, right? It was
Mhm.
this woman you gave me. And there's so many examples of women being the villain and leading men into sin. My body causes men to sin. Men don't have self-control naturally. No. You can lay a steak out in front of a dog and he won't eat it. But a man can't keep his hands off a woman if she dresses with her legs showing too much, with too much cleavage, whatever it is. Our bodies cause men to sin. We are inherently evil, essentially. So I grew up hating myself, and that caused a lot of psychological issues down the road. Then there was the physical abuse that I received at Logos School and also at home, because one of the things I heard my pastor, Doug Wilson, say so many times was, do not spare the rod.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
that was something very, very much performed. There were not very many days. There was at least a year of my life where I was beaten almost every single day.
Wow.
Let's talk about
And
earlier about
yesterday-
Twin Peaks. I do have a piece right here that I bought, like the DVD set that came out after the third season came out. It actually shows up. There.
Whoa, that's awesome.
It's like a holographic, like.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I don't. It does it change?
No, just like that. Yeah, it's just the way
Okay,
it looks.
okay.
It looks kind of crazy.
Gotcha.
It is like a weird, like holographic thing, though.
Yeah, sure. I tried that when they were talking about it. She was on the phone, so I didn't say anything. But I tried to show my hat. I don't know if that
Oh,
anybody caught that. Nobody said anything. I'm not sure if anybody caught it.
I saw him talking about Twin Peaks earlier, and I mean, we both love Twin Peaks so
Yeah.
much. Twin Peaks is amazing. I love David Lynch so much. We had a big David Lynch love fest about 2 weeks ago, and the chat actually turned on us.
They did. It was too weird.
The chat turned on us,
Too much.
and I'm fine with it. I get it.
Yeah.
Daniela never said super sticker $1.99. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Coming
They're just
through.
waiting in here.
Yeah, dude, everybody's coming through. Legally Blonde,
Cam
23.
gave
a lot
the
of
$10.
new-
I don't know if you saw
Kim
that
coming
one.
through. Yeah, y'all are awesome. Appreciate that. Hell yeah, went over the 100 like mark.
I called Willow Queen of the Chat. I actually think it might be Kim. She's still. I think she might
stole
be
it.
ahead.
I think Kim
Yep.
stole Queen of the Chat with the $10. Badass, yeah, Mar, man. You want to go down some deep. I mean, I couldn't even imagine how much time of my life thinking about Twin Peaks. Like the third season is a masterpiece. Like,
Dude, I could. Yeah,
the
when
third
I
season is such another level.
when I got into it, I couldn't stop. Like I was obsessed.
Dude,
Watching the first and
Hey.
second season, watching Fire Walk with Me, watching the third season, watching YouTube channels
dude.
go over it,
And the
4-hour
books.
long videos of people like trying to break it down.
There's books, man. Like
Yeah,
the
the
universe is
books, yes.
so deep, and honestly, like I got to watch Dan get into it in real time, and it was
Yeah.
awesome. Because like when he really started actually getting into it and digging it, I was like, whoa, sweet. Because
I'm
like
sending you messages every day.
yeah, there was a
Yeah.
moment because like, and dude, I don't know how many people in my real life that I've like tried to get to watch a show and they can't get through it. They don't, and I get it. It's not for everyone, but I feel like if you can actually get through the first episode and then actually get the first season is fucking brilliant. Like,
Yeah, so good.
like it's weird, but man, like
The second
story-
season is where you're going to drop off. If you're
you'll
gonna
probably drop off after what, episode 8, when they actually
Yeah,
reveal
yeah.
Bob and everything, and they start getting into
Well,
those
I
weird
mean,
side
dude,
storylines.
Dude, the second season can be kind of garbage.
Second
I'm
season
gonna be
is
real with
got
you.
some garbage in it, but dude,
like
the movie
what was it? It was-
rules.
the first episode is really good in the second season because it continues the
Well,
first season. And then it does
The
it
ending,
takes like a
the
it takes a
last two
super TV
episodes
turn.
are special.
Yeah, the second and the last two are really
The
good.
last two were actually
yeah,
David
the-
Lynch episodes.
The fucking where they explore, they just made it like a comedy romance like TV
weird.
show, and it was
got
not
weird.
good.
Which I've
You got to
still-
watch them.
Again, yeah, I've watched through the series, I would say 4 or 5 times, and I still watch the ones I know I'm going to hate.
Yeah, in my opinion, they're not that good though. I really
No, there's a
didn't like
bunch of shit ones. No, 100%. David Lynch hates them because David Lynch was taken out of the equation. David Lynch did not even want to
Exactly.
ever reveal Bob.
You
David
see
Lynch,
the shift.
yeah, dude, you can
Easy.
see the shift, and then he was brought back for the last two, and you can tell because the last two are dope as hell. Like,
It goes right back into the shit that you liked about the first season.
yeah,
And dude, the first episode of the second season is bonkers.
yeah,
It's so good. And then you get that what I don't even remember how many episodes it is, but there's a ton of
I
episodes that
think
are
it's
just like
I think episode 8's when the shift happened, 7 or 8.
yeah, so then you get your seventh or eighth episode, and then the next episode, the actual finale of the second season. And those two episodes blow your fucking mind wide open again. It's like
It's killer. If anybody's not, I mean, yeah, go check it out if you haven't seen it.
and then the third season is just insane, incredible. It's a little weird too because it's like it's in the future. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, they had to, I guess, because of the actual actors aged, so they had to sort of change things a little bit. You know what I mean?
Dude, the real life stuff that like actually lines up though, like it was actually 25 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
After Sarah
That's
Palmer
cool,
told him,
yeah.
"I'll see you in 25 years."
That is cool, and that wasn't predicted. There's no way that was
no,
predicted.
dude. Like, and dude, even the very ending. I'm not even going to go into it, but the very literal ending of the entire show, season 3. That entire scene,
Yeah, dude.
is like so many levels of like crazy, like third dimensional breaking the fourth wall madness. Like,
And it's amazing that he was able to get Showtime to do it, right? Because if it would have been like another like TV series, like network TV, it would have not been good.
oh,
Or it
yeah.
would probably still been good because it's David Lynch. If they
And-
would have been, if a network TV channel gave him full control like he got with Showtime,
right? Because he wasn't
it
even
would've
going to do
prob-
that one.
it
He
would have
said-
still been good. But
he
he was
pulled
able
out.
to do so much more with a movie channel. You
I
know?
love that he called their bluff because they're like, no, we're not going to give you full control. And he's like, well, I won't fucking do it.
Exactly.
And then the hype online, I remember the buzz, dude. It actually went viral. People were going crazy. And Showtime, I guess, was like, well, fuck. And they gave him full control. And you can tell. You can tell.
Dude, David Lynch is a phenomenon.
He's awesome, dude.
Like a lot of people don't like his stuff because it can be weird and hard to understand.
I get
but
it. I get it.
he has a huge following.
I get
Huge following.
I love him. Like, he's one of my absolute favorites. Like,
He's a super successful director for somebody who does weird ass shit.
Lisa Hendrick, thank you so much. Stephen Dan, love your chat. Thank you for being here. That's a new name, too. I hope you're sticking around. If you're subbed up, make sure all notifications are turned on. Hell yeah, Lisa. Love that you're active in chat. That's a big deal.
Yeah, people
That's
pop in
really
here. We do
sweet.
things slightly different from the other channels. You know, we kind of hang out, have a good time. Which other channels do too. You know,
No, yeah,
Drunk
yeah.
Turkey especially. You know, those guys hang out.
Tonight
and
was
have
a
good
killer
time.
ass show.
Um,
Tonight was fun as hell. Over on the Drunk Turkey show.
But Stevie will handle the actual like making edited like videos side and do lives where he covers things, and then on Friday nights we come in here and we just hang out
Now, Friday nights are
with you guys.
I mean, we
honestly.
cover stories and we go down, but yeah, Friday nights is definitely a lot more crowd oriented, chat oriented. Us just hanging out oriented. Like Friday nights.
Yeah,
are,
because
that's
it
why I
can
always
completely
try to
go off
like,
the
even when I
rails.
promote the show, I try to like, I'm like every Tuesday night, every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Friday nights, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. You know, that's the one you really try to hype up as just a little bit more wilder, a little bit crazier.
Yep.
And it's actually been pretty true. Anybody new to
Yeah,
the
we
channel?
can-
It seems like there's a lot of new people coming in tonight. 2 weeks ago, the Leprechaun episode, the St. Patrick's Day episode, we hit 4K. We were partying. It's basically a non-true crime episode. We ended up watching Leprechaun trailers and getting real drunk. So
And that was about that was us just having a good time that night. But we were celebrating 4K subscribers.
we did call that one out the gate. We didn't even pretend like we were covering something that night.
Yep.
I like that. Steve Deep Dive, Dan Reality Check. That's literally what we do.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get lost in it sometimes, and I'll get lost in the conspiracies hard, and I kind of like that. I like it, honestly. I mean, you're literally, if you're in here right now, you clicked on a conspiracy stream titled 666, you fucking psychos.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you're involved in this too, but then Dan will bring us all back to reality, and I love that.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I like conspiracies and I like talking about them, but I'm always going to be on that reality boat. I'm always going to be on the boat that says, "Come on, guys, let's really think about this.
love that.
Let's bring it back in for just a second and think about is this even possible? Is this something that you could even fathom? You know, is it really possible?"
Yeah, dude.
That's always where I'm going to be. That's always where I'm sitting. You know, that's the mound I'm sitting on.
And it's the best. It's the best. I love conspiracies. Everyone just leaves. They're like, all right. Our channel crashes.
My
You
tone of
love it.
voice,
You
being too
freaks
blunt
love
the way
it.
I said things, not understanding, social cues, and
Thank you all for
not
being here. Seriously.
being able to follow through with things I was told to do because I couldn't really understand, and my brain
shit,
would grab
Seymour called
onto
me out.
every part of what I was told. And
Whoa.
Whoa,
What is going on here? Whoa, that makes a little too much sense.
God damn it. It's hard to me.
that caused a lot of trauma.
Wow. Is the Christchurch community, do they kind of view mental health stuff? They downplay the medical side of some of this stuff. Like when I was, I'm a recovering drug addict.
Oh shit!
In fact,
Sorry
I
they
just
interrupted
passed
it
my
again.
7-year
Like as this quick, but Michigal said Twin Peaks Cafe in North Bend, Washington. Good food. I actually found out somebody saw my hat recently, or it's not that recently, a couple months ago, several months ago even, and they thought it was a restaurant that's like kind of like Hooters. There's like a mock restaurant like Hooters called Twin Peaks, where like
I
the
get it.
gimmick is
Yeah,
girls
yeah,
with
okay.
yeah.
I'd go in there with like looking like
I had
Dale
fucking
Cooper,
no
bro.
idea what he was talking about.
I'd be like, yeah, I'm just here to get a piece of pie and some coffee, and they'd be like, what? And their tits would be out, and I'd be like, wait, this isn't right.
Coffee and pie. Let's go in and order a coffee and pie.
I'd probably still get some nachos or something, I reckon.
It's hilarious
You're
though.
more
Yeah, I
from
didn't know such a thing existed. But he thought my hat was that I got it from them. It was like that company. And honestly, dude, their logo isn't that far off, I think.
Oh, really? They're kind of playing on that?
Yeah, let me look it up here.
Yeah, send that to me. I'll play this
Yeah,
one.
yeah, it's not that far off at all. Just type in Twin Peaks restaurant in Google. I could definitely see how he thought that's what my hat was. Yeah, that's what he was saying. He said it was like Hooters.
Yeah.
To their logos. Yeah, right there on the right. Second row right side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not that. I mean, here, look. This is the hat logo. The hat logo I have on my hat.
Yeah. Very, similar vibe.
It's really
for sure.
not that far off.
That's funny though. Yeah. Because I would have been like, I'm ready to get some pie, bro. Like I'd have been like, yes.
Dude, if I saw that, I would be going in there for sure.
Yeah. Well,
100%.
You're gonna pat myself.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm never looking back.
That's a great play on words, Lurking Hooligan. Wow, brought it together. Shit.
I'm going forward, but it was finding out that it was a disease, finding out that I had severe mental health issues, that it wasn't a demon or spiritual warfare. It was much more physical, genetic, environmental trauma, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I approached the church, they said that it was spiritual and that you were fighting not flesh and blood, but you were fighting spiritual battle.
Mm-hmm.
And it was absolutely wrong. Are they like that toward mental health, toward some of the things that you've described from your own experience?
That's a good one.
Do you know, can you recall them kind of downplaying some of the mental health stuff?
Yeah, that is good.
Trying to upplay something else like spiritual warfare and stuff.
Yeah, they really didn't appreciate any kind of therapy You were not encouraged to use therapy. You were encouraged to use counseling from the elders or the pastor or the pastor's wife. And that is something that I had to go through, unfortunately. And that was not a great experience.
Hmm. Caleb Jackson, thank you for that super chat. As a Christian, he says, I find Wilson to be a cult leader.
Absolutely. There is a very large group of Christians right now that is trying to expose Doug Wilson and fighting against his Christian nationalism and
Very
his
cultish.
just the load of
Oh, I
crap
see
that
it
he
immediately.
pulls and calls Christianity. It's nothing Christ-like. Nothing at all. There's no love. It's all hatred. And it's the opposite of everything that Jesus taught.
Christian nationalism. I have a question. He's written on slavery, and I figure why not dive into a big one. You mentioned in your previous interview on our good friend
I'm
Harmonic.
going to get into the slavery bit here a little bit. And as they do continue forward, if we do make it that far, again, this is rather long, they do get into a bit that is a little bit more graphic sexually. Again, warning on that.
Atheist.
Does that have to do
Tim
with
Mills.
CP stuff?
Huh?
Does that have to do with the CP stuff?
CP.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I don't want to say it.
I know.
Children.
Oh, no.
Okay.
It doesn't have to do. That would be way worse, actually. No.
Yeah,
No,
'cause I
this
don't
is
really
just
wanna hear it.
abuse from how they treat their wives, like
Oh, okay.
how they should have them at any time they want them, regardless. Like, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh, and then no bad corporal punishment. Yeah, I can see how you could think that.
YouTube
What
channel.
is it?
No bad. When I said CP, no
Oh,
bad life said
yeah.
corporal punishment.
CP.
Yeah.
It took me a
Right.
second too, and I'm glad you didn't say it. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it.
that's one I don't even want to say. Right? Like,
Yeah.
Why I haven't thought about this till now. My mind has just been so focused on trying to ask you the right questions. But go watch that previous interview because there's things she's going to say there that she's not going to mention on this episode, and there's things we're going to talk about here that wasn't mentioned there. Particularly, you mentioned he wants to build up, your words, the white man, and he has this kind of pro-slavery apologetic, assuming Southern slavery wasn't really that bad. If anything, blacks were benefiting due to their slave owners and stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about his slavery stance that you're aware of, and what's up with this, like, building up the white man thing?
Well, I mean, for those of you who don't know Doug Wilson's stance, he has writings where he has said very plainly and in very, there's no question, there's no way of getting out of the things that he wrote on paper, in books, stating that slavery was good for the slaves. So that's, I mean, there's no questions. You can't refute that at all. It's there. It's in writing. Look up his writing. I would check out Examining Doug Wilson in Moscow, Idaho, the page on Facebook.
I
and
put
they have
that in the description.
Yeah.
Actually, that's
Yeah.
where I got the picture of all the businesses that are going out, not going out, but are going into the hands of this church, was from that Facebook. There is like a Facebook, almost like watch group, you know, just kind of like a learning, ringing the bells. Because I mean, these guys have like basically become way more popular since the pandemic because of that story, kind of, you know, going viral. I hadn't heard about it, but it was. If you Google it, like, it's everywhere. It's like, but again, there was so much going on at that point in time. Good Lord.
The story of what? Of him being the racist part?
What is it?
Or were you reading something from chat?
I'm not sure.
She just mentioned how he the slavery thing.
Yeah.
Where did you say you got the list of businesses? Why'd you bring? What was
I'm
that?
sorry. He just mentioned a Facebook group, and it's essentially like a watch group alerting people about this.
I'm with you. I got you.
That all his writings and stuff, you'll be shocked by most of them. But it was
I just read a slight snippet from Wikipedia about the guy, and we were all basically like, all right.
Much.
Yeah, I mean, and like this. So is this Facebook group? Is this group against him or is
against
there,
him?
I'm sure
they're against him.
Okay, I'm sure there is a group that probably follows him as well. There's physically follow him in person, and there's probably internet following as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then building up his
You know,
YouTube.
it blows my mind, you know, and I've to be honest, I've been kind of sheltered from this, but it blows my mind when I discover people who still have these racist ideologies, right? And
Yeah,
they
it's
actually believe these things. They
silly.
believe slavery was a good thing. They believe
It's
we should be
brainwashing through
segregated.
these, yeah,
All of
like you
these.
said, ideologies. Like they're
I
taught
was
through most systems. Like
I was ignorant to that, to be honest with you. I mean, you see subtleties of it in life, and you know, I have friends who have talked about it, and there's subtleties of it, but I didn't. And obviously, you know, it's out there. I knew it was out there, but the vastness of it. There's a lot of motherfuckers out there who actually believe this stuff,
yeah, too
and it's
many,
crazy. It's
way too
crazy
many.
to me.
Nah, it blows my mind too, dude. Like it's gross. Like, but again, yeah, it's a lot of it. And then in this case, where they're building these churches, and then they have these levels of members. They build families, and then there's going to be generations that are going to come out, and then they're going to be spread across the nation soon. And that's their model right now. That's literally what's happening. Like his model is basically right now it's to conquer fucking Moscow, Idaho. But
I do wonder if there's
how many
like
generations
there
is
was.
it going to take to sweep the nation? If I'm sure, you know, I'm sure, hopefully it gets stopped. But
I do wonder if like that kind of ideas got suppressed for a long time, and are they back on the rise?
right.
Because I've heard about it way more recently than ever before
And it's
in
easy
my life.
to get it out there now, right? With like YouTube and stuff with this guy.
That's true, and that goes back to like is the every, you know, people say there's way more crime nowadays. Well, no, you just hear about it more because it's so easily you can read it so much easier than you used to be able to. You used to have to turn on the news to read it. You know, they had to have access to it. Yada yada yada. Nowadays, everybody has access to literally everything that happens on the entire planet.
Instantly at your fingertips.
So
We're all just
it may just be a case of it's getting out there more because of the internet, or maybe it actually is becoming a more prominent ideology. I don't know. That's fucks with me because I
weird.
don't like it. I think it's really fucked up
I
and
know.
awful, and I don't.
Same.
If it is growing, then what is going to happen? You know?
Yeah. Well, going to Helter Skelter, baby. That one part
Yeah, I
really
don't
did
know.
read like how Charles Manson put the Helter Skelter stuff. Like
I don't know
Article
the
race war
exact
was
quote,
brewing.
but it mentions having, you know, being, what was the term he used? It was like reproducing a lot and having a lot of white babies. And I do remember growing up, there was one black person in our church, and that wasn't until later on, and he was going to New St. Andrews. And the only black children, any children of color, honestly, were adopted children
There you go.
from other countries that were whitewashed.
Wow.
So, yeah.
This is interesting. I'm curious. I never attended their church. I'm curious if they kind of teach this stay with your own kind teaching. And I'm not talking about like, hey, you like country music? I like country music. I'm talking, you look like me, you talk like me, we have the same genetical, you know, we look very similar, meaning our skin color and such. Is that taught in the church?
A lot of these things aren't said out loud, but they are insinuated. And one of the things that is taught very loudly is that you really aren't supposed to have much community or friends outside of Christ Church community.
That's a cult.
I bet you see a lot of that in other towns.
That's a cult. Just so you know, that's
honestly.
a cult. I mean,
definitely, dude. Definitely.
We've been,
yeah, like it's, and how many other, here's a weird question, how many other churches are currently using the age that we're in with technology to grow new churches like this, right? Like,
fuck,
I'd say there's a few.
It's also, not only is it easier to get the information, yeah, it's going to make it easier to spread.
Yeah.
Like a fucking virus.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a
Drink
cold.
And I'm
Kool-Aid.
gonna
like
relate it to
that.
that because that's kind of what it is. It's
It
a fucking
is.
virus.
It's the best way to
Not
put it, I
good.
think, actually.
Right there is like,
Imagine the
Mhm. And if you want to
what's that?
leave,
What's the cult that was in Ohio? Was it Ohio? The Indian cult?
Oh, the Netflix special one?
Yeah, imagine if
I
they
think
had
that was
the fucking
Colorado or Washington.
was it Colorado?
Something
Okay.
like that.
Regardless of where it was, imagine they went through, you know, they went to extremes.
That documentary is so mind blowing. Like,
Imagine they had the internet to fuck with people.
what was the name of that?
Rashandi or something like that.
Yeah, like it was that Indian
I'm
guru that like
butchering
started in
that.
India and then like it just started like sweeping across
Wild
the world.
Wild Country.
Wild Wild Country. Yep. That documentary is crazy.
Rajneesh was the guy's name. Sri Rajneesh.
Yeah.
Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. I think they were called the Rajneesh, right?
I think so. Yep.
Just imagine they had the internet to do their shit with.
Yeah,
like
because that was
to propagate
80s.
whatever they wanted to do. Yeah.
Crazy.
'Cause they didn't.
Oregon.
They didn't
Somebody
have
said
that.
Seabolt said Oregon. I think he might
Oregon,
be right.
Oregon.
I think he's right,
They-
actually.
They didn't have that resource. And they were going to extremes to corrupt the entire town.
Yeah, like he said right
Trying
there.
to kill people
They had their
off.
own police department. Like,
Yeah.
the Wild Wild Country is crazy, bro. Like,
Sri Rajneesh, yeah. Willow calling it out too.
yeah,
it was insane. I mean, that was dude, yeah. So these cults, honestly, I'm surprised we don't have more cults popping up that are actually popular as fuck because of the internet. Like the reach, like if these people can corrupt people personally in person and get them to follow them in, I mean, why do we actually, that's a good question. Why have we not seen more of that through the internet?
yeah.
Are people just smarter if they're not like if you're not in the physical presence of this person, do you not fall for it? Maybe
it's not as gripping or whatever is capturing them. Which
That's like-
still
that-
happens because the case that's coming up with Lori Vallow, right? She got hung up on that motherfucker's ideology and books through buying them through the internet, and then actually met the guy, went at one of these conferences, and then the rest is history. Ended up burying her kids in his yard. Like,
that kind of sounds like that could be like a research paper.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, no, that's a great
Or
thought. Like,
or are they just so rare that like the ones that actually become popular, they're so rare that we just haven't had another one. Have we had one since the internet age?
a what?
Have we had a cult, like a big cult thing happen since the internet age?
I guess outside of Scientology.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a 100%.
that was
cult.
before the internet age as well, though.
That's true. Yeah, like I'm trying to think of
it
something
still
that just like pops
exists,
off in my head.
like a cult grown through the internet.
Yeah, I would say
don't know
that's
if we've
what's
had
happening
that.
here. And honestly, I bet there are cases.
Yeah,
Like-
there probably are.
It's an interesting thought, though. It'd be really interesting to really deep dive that.
then you lose your entire community.
wow, sounds like Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay.
It does.
Have I ever been to the Golden Palace? What is the Golden Palace?
I had to ask. I had to ask.
Yeah.
Bitcoin,
Anti-evolution
yeah.
teaching.
Huh?
Someone said Bitcoin is the internet cult. That's
That
hilarious.
is funny.
So, are they young Earth creationists like my
Let's see.
Presbyterian PCA church was?
Yeah, I mean the Earth is only what 5,000 years old
Seven,
or
I
whatever it
think.
is they say.
Yeah.
7. Yeah, like that's much better. Yeah, definitely it was created in 7 days. Well, 6 days. God rested on the 7th, which was a Sunday. It was a Saturday, and yeah. I mean,
Golden
let there be
Palace. I
light.
don't know. I
There
can't
was
find out
light
what that
in a
is
matter
even.
of 6 business days.
Yeah.
It was a sitcom.
I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you because
What Mama was talking about?
She says, yeah, she asked if we've ever been to the Golden Palace. I can't figure out what that is. There's a sitcom called the Golden Palace. That's all I could find.
Is she talking about the Capitol in West Virginia with the gold roof?
Man, yeah. If you Google Golden Palace,
from what I read
it
on
only
some of
brings up
their
the
stuff, it
show.
reminded me of my old PCA church, that they have an anti-evolution stance. Are they teaching anti-evolution material in Logos school? And
Yeah.
that's their whole shtick.
Yeah, and there's a whole class for Bible that you
Amish
are like. There's a
gangs.
whole
All right.
period
I
of
know, it's
Bible
like, what?
period in elementary
I
school.
That
guarantee-
sounds
I mean,
wild.
it makes sense.
Wow. How many
Yeah.
levels did you get to? And how long would you, so that our audience understands, you were raised, you were baptized in this, how long were you in Christ Church and in the school?
I was in Christ Church for, I don't know how old I was when I moved to Moscow, but I was young enough that my first memories are of Moscow. I don't remember anything before that. Logos, I was in Logos until
I've
fifth
got a
grade,
harem.
so
Oh
second
shit.
grade to fifth
Okay.
grade. And the reason that I was out so early is because I begged my parents to take me out, and it took me several times of advocating for myself for them to listen.
Who is 1-2?
And
Have we established 1-2's gender? Is 1-2 a man or a woman?
I don't remember. If
They
we
said
did,
they have a harem. Does
did
harem
Mountain
is
Mama ever
like
say
harem
anything?
like Muslim harem? Like a
Mountain Mama disappeared. What the hell? Now we're lost in a Twin Peaks conundrum.
oh god.
Mountain Mama! We're deep in it tonight, everyone. We got conversations going on about cults, about poisonings,
That's what
about
happens,
Twin
man. It gets
Peaks,
wild.
baby. And now we're trying to figure out what the golden domes are.
At the point
Or
the
what did she say,
video is just
palace?
background noise.
A little bit Yep, LDS, Latter-day Saints. Daniela. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, you are amazing. Did 1-2 say something?
Well, they mentioned that he or she said, "I've got a harem." Does that count? And a harem in Muslim faith is like a room for women, basically.
Huh.
It's like a room for women. I think it's a room where like women take care of children. It's like a nursing room.
Okay. Wow. We all done got blinded in here, y'all.
Things got better once they did. A lot better.
Thank you for that answer. Thank you, Dogs of Mayhem, for becoming a
Waco
member
was
of
wild.
Midvision.
Mom
We
was
love
watching
you.
a
Thank
Waco
you.
documentary recently.
Yeah, there's a good one on Netflix, right?
I think that's one she was
I
watching.
haven't
yeah.
seen it, but I've heard it's good. I should check that out. Maybe we'll do some Waco stuff.
So much for joining our
Oh,
cult.
it's not a room? Is it like a house? It's like a space, though, right? It's like a space designated for women, and
1-2 is male. I will remember that now.
maybe I completely have it wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering what a
1-2.
harem is. Hair room.
I don't
I
know
mean,
why
I
Creepy
definitely.
Crystal said ECW, but I'm
I-
here for it.
It's someone who has a harem. Is not someone who has a lot of wives. It's literally it's a space for their wives. It's like a room or a building or a
Danielle says a
guest
harem is
house
basically a
for-
group of wives.
I don't know if that's true.
Lurking says it's a hair room, but he might. I'm not.
I think it has to do with like the space that the wives live in. It's not harem does not have anything to do with like somebody that has more wives.
I've literally never heard
space-
this word in my life.
It's a space that the women live in, and the children can live there too, like if they're nursing children or whatever. Willow, harem is a pleasure dome. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's a
Harem.
room specifically for
says harem refers to
It's a
domestic
sex den.
spaces that are reserved for women of the house in a Muslim family. A harem may house a man's wife or wives, their pubescent male children, unmarried daughters, female domestic servants. So it does sound like a space.
It is the room. It's
The
the
women
room.
occupying
Yeah.
a harem. They're inside of it. A Maharaja in how do you Delhi? Had a very fine harem of 18 young and nuble wives.
There you go. Boom.
A group of female animals sharing a single mate is also a harem.
Okay, so we're both
The
right.
dominant
then, aren't we?
bulls gather a harem of anything.
But that's for
from 2
animals.
to 10
That's for animals. That's for
cows.
animals, though. Yeah. So
We're
animals.
learning stuff.
For animals, it's if you have multiple sex partners. But for humans in the Muslim faith, that's what I was referring to. The Muslim faith, they have a room called a harem, which is where the wives live and take care of children.
Oh wow.
Right? It's a pretty wild thing.
Yeah.
Where you can come and go as you please and talk to whoever you please.
I know a
and
lot
do
of
whatever
Muslims
you
and they
please.
don't have harem. I don't know. Google it. We just Googled it.
So one of
Bro, I
the
don't
questions
know
I
what to
had,
tell
Tim
you.
sent me, was talking about Peter Lehart and Roy Atwood, and they left the logo school and New Saint Andrews. But we're not going to speculate on that because, as you mentioned before, you're not aware of the reasons. I wish we knew, but we don't. Let's dive into something else. And what that is you've experienced some trauma. What do you think in your diagnosis that we described at the beginning? What were some of the things that you were traumatized by? Like you mentioned being spanked and the home discipline. Would you say that those were the main?
It says the wives in hold on.
I think the reality is the word has been used for different things.
Harem is the
That's
community
what
of wives
we literally just found
and
out.
children. There's a lot of different ones. Yeah, both the room and women can be referred to as harem. We just looked up the definition. If you did call a woman that after this, that would be a derogatory term. You're calling them an animal, right?
Right. That's true.
Major
Well, the
things.
word means different things. The word means different things, and that's obvious. It means and what they're saying is probably also correct, right?
Right.
It probably
I think
just
we're all
means,
right.
Yeah, I think we're all right. That's the thing. It's just my
I'm not right. I
understanding
just
of
learned
it.
the shit. I just looked it up. I don't know shit
My
about it.
understanding of it was from the
You
Muslim
actually
faith.
knew the word.
My understanding of it was from the Muslim faith, right? And now that you guys are spilling out all this other stuff, it's not religious at all. Yada
And
yada
they're saying
yada.
it's not religious at all.
No,
Okay.
I didn't know that. I mean, that's totally possible. Man, this word has caused so much controversy in this chat.
The conspiracy stream 666.
I really do think we're all right, though. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
That you were actually being physically disciplined, as I'll use the term, or really assaulted, if you will. But
yeah. It's being abused.
Seeing a man about a dog off screen.
And how did they do this at school? Like,
Get
did
it.
they just
Ain't nothing I can do
take
about
a
it.
spoon and just barely like touch you, or were they whipping you and doing
Leave
it
me
in
off that.
public? Or
Okay. So if you misbehave enough, then you go to the principal's office and you get a talking to, and you're in trouble, and that's embarrassing. It's a shameful type thing, right? But if you go the next level and you really piss off a teacher, then the female teacher, Mrs. Jordan, would take the female student to the principal's office, and you would bend over the principal's desk while he watched, and she would beat you with a wooden paddle, a large wooden paddle, and she was not gentle. If she was busy and couldn't do it herself, Matt Whitling, the principal, would do it, even if it was a female student. He wasn't supposed to, but he did it twice to me, and I know multiple times to another female student as well, who has come forward publicly to speak about it. The first time that happened to me, the reason I got in trouble is because they said I lied, but my autism and my ADHD brain made me think that I had started a school project that I haven't started. And I was like, oh yeah, I started that. And she's like, show me. I said, okay. And I'm feeling confident about myself. I open my desk up and I look at it and I realize the wrong piece of paper is written on. The one she was talking about, I hadn't started yet. And I said, I'm sorry, I thought I started it. It was complete miscommunication, right? No, I was a liar. I tried to explain it and I tried to advocate for myself, but she wouldn't hear it. And she took me straight down to the principal's office and I was beaten for the first time. I was in second grade, mind you. That's pretty young to be bent over a male principal's desk while he watches and beaten with a wooden paddle and then come back and everybody knows that that happened and you're shamed. You feel ashamed in every way.
Wow.
It's not just a physical abuse, it's psychological. It was really traumatizing for me. I'll never forget that experience. It's as clear in my mind today as it was the day it happened.
How are you doing today with the traumas that you experienced?
I am and have been in therapy for a very
I'm
long
not doing the
time.
harem talk anymore.
I went through PTSD therapy when I first moved to Winston-Salem a year ago, and I completed that. And I am now in the process of completing DBT therapy, which is a cognitive behavioral therapy specifically for, it was curated specifically for people with borderline personality disorder, but it's great for PTSD and reactive attachment disorder as well.
Wow. So you're doing a lot better.
I am wonderful. I've healed. And I'm doing amazingly. I have a career in the disability field. I'm an advocate.
Wow.
And I have my own place and I pay for it myself and I take care of everything myself and I live alone and I don't need a man. Thank you very much.
There you go. So you have figured it out. I just needed to know that so we could at least put some icing on the cake and make a happy here. Put the candles on, light them. Yay. Everybody
I'm
celebrate.
happy.
That's good.
I'm very
That's good.
happy.
And I want to get into your happiness here in a
How
moment.
did that? I wonder. How did that word even come up?
want
Why
people
did
to
that even become
understand
a
that, like,
discussion?
what
I
you're
have to
doing
go back and look at that.
takes-
I may have been the one that brought it up.
Thank you, Mama.
I don't know
Stormy?
why I would have though. I'm not.
No,
I
somebody
can't
else brought
remember.
it up.
Mm.
And then you knew the definition.
Yeah, and there's
Like, just off
also
the top of your head.
haram, which is very similar sounding word is
All right,
also
we're not going back
Islamic.
into Harams.
No, that's harem. Haram is against. It's like doing anything against Islamic faith, I think, or forbidden, right? Something forbidden in Islamic faith. It's almost the exact same word, though, right?
Yeah, it sounds exactly the same.
Crazy.
What did Pookie say? Steve, look what Pookie said.
What did Pookie say?
Oh,
Bet he got a
whoa,
Woody.
What the hell? I don't know what the hell she's talking about.
I see her laughing. Don't worry, guys. Under our burqas, we are cursing you out. Okay.
The fuck?
She's wild out
Y'all
there.
are crazy or hell.
It's a lot of courage. But
Did
it's
you hear
also
about
Friday
Mickey?
night,
Wait, was
though.
it the?
So
wait,
while
is it
it's
the
like
last
very,
message,
you're
or was
bringing
that
your
not there
life, you're
yet?
being
Did you hear about
very-
Mickey and Minnie Mouse in divorce court? The judge, Mr. Mouse, sir. Wait, hang on. What? The judge, Mr. Mouse, sir. Is it true you said Minnie is stupid and that's the grounds for your divorce? And Mickey said, I didn't say she. I don't know. I didn't get that one. Maybe I read it weird. Was stupid. I said she was effing goofy. Oh, that brings it around.
Oh. I think I've heard that joke actually, now that I'm like actually reading it. That's a good joke though.
Yeah.
transparent and like saying what's going on and what's happened, there's a sense in which this helps you. And I know because it's helped me and like speaking out. So I got a super chat. Let's take the super chat and then we'll jump into something else. Constellation Pegasus, I don't understand the term young earth creationist. The church taught 6,000-year-old church forever. When did this change or whatever in today's world? Young earth creation is nothing new at all. It's just
Do you want to take that one? Because I don't know anything about it.
I think that young earth creationism is only a thing that comes up when people realize it's not young. So you have to say that the earth is young once you recognize people are realizing that it's very old. And because it's very old, we now need to coin, no, it's young earth. The Bible teaches the earth was created based on this genealogy back to Adam. And I know that many of my Christian friends who want to try and do old age and want to try and find a way around this. Adam goes back to the 6th day of creation. If you take our genealogies and you go back to Adam, and then you just add 6 more days, at least you have heaven and earth, light and darkness. The first day is made. So I understand that we can do whatever kind of gymnastics we want to get around this, but yeah, I think Constellation is just trying to hit the nail on the head. Like, what the heck is this all about? And it came up because science started recognizing the earth is older. The same thing with evolution. We're not made from previous species. We're not cousins.
You know
of
what?
the
To the
monkeys.
point that he's making
know,
right
we-
now, it's super fucking weird they ever let that get out. It's super weird that the church ever let any scientist publish anything that says this thing is older than 6,000 years, right?
Right.
Because even today, they're suppressing things that have been found that go against the Bible or the church's beliefs or of what
Yeah, we're
Earth's
actually
history is.
in a weird scientific like revolution with a lot of stuff that's like it's being suppressed, but it's still out there, and the internet's trying to help it. Like
It's
like-
kind of out there,
like
yeah.
those areas.
But
with
anything official
do you
will
keep
fucking...
up with any of the Graham Hancock stuff?
No, I don't
Been on
think
Joe
so.
Rogan tons of times, dude. This dude has been saying for the last literally 30 years about how the planet's, way older. He really gets into the Egyptian pyramid stuff. But now his science that he's been called a kook for the last 30 years is being like he's coming to light. Like he's actually, because now we have the radar technology where you can like fly over top and see, but below the trees you can see if this ground's ever been used or dug into. And just like the forest that the scientists were saying that there's no way, like the jungles rather, like in some of these places that could never ever, they're so dense, there's no way anybody could have ever been here. Now it's proven that they were there. There were civilizations there. There were roads there. He was saying
There's a
that
lot of-
30 years ago, and it's
there's so
not
much-
mainstream, but he's actually now
Dude,
finally.
and it never will be. That's what I'm talking about right
But he
now.
is
the
like
mainstream.
finally he's one of the ones that's Joe Rogan's helping him, of course. But
Yeah, mainstream archaeologists literally will not admit
But
that
you're
they
right.
were wrong.
dude, look him up. Watch some of that YouTube stuff on dude. So interesting. So
Like,
good. I love the pyramid stuff.
Yeah, like the site at oh god. Normally I would fucking spit it out.
You're fired.
Machu Picchu. God damn it. That's
Yeah,
the one.
okay. Yep.
So that site was
You have to watch
know,
Graham Hancock, dude.
that site was I don't know the age. Hang on, let me Google it real quick. Probably occupied between 1420 and 1530. Anyway, the age that they're saying that how old they're saying this thing is goes back to hunter-gatherer days of the human race, right?
Right.
So it shouldn't have been possible for hunter-gatherers to build such sophisticated structures. But they're still fucking saying that
Dude.
hunter-gatherers did this.
Yeah, dude. This
Even
is
though,
Graham
like,
Hancock conversation.
It's because it fucks up their whole timeline that they've
Exactly,
created over the
dude.
years.
Yeah.
That's the
yeah.
only reason they won't go and say, well, you know what? We may have been wrong. Let's reanalyze this.
Yep.
It's going to be a fuckload of work.
Yep.
And it may take years for us to do it, but let's reanalyze this. No, they're just like, no. Fucking hunter-gatherers fucking built this thing. We somehow we didn't have, a sophisticated civilization yet, but they were still able to build this
Yep.
insane structure.
Yeah, we're gonna watch this.
It's fucking
This
insane.
This is too perfect not to watch this right now.
Just fucking shift your timeline. Do more research or change it. We're discovering
Dude.
new things all the time.
Yeah, dude. Like, and they're so stubborn. Like exactly what you're
Yeah.
saying. Like they don't want to admit they're wrong. The narcissism, dude. This right here.
I mean,
We'll
I
watch
know
a
I'm
little bit.
fucking
It's gonna have
I'm
to watch all
killing
this, but-
momentum. Fuck. All right, let's just do it. Let's do it.
Oh, you can
I
go.
gotta piss and
You
get
want
a
to go for
beer.
a second?
But
I'll talk to Chad. It's cool.
yeah.
Go.
I just don't want to kill the momentum.
No, you're good.
But yeah, just like 2 seconds.
See what they're saying. See if they are into this or not. We're getting late here anyways, though. Everybody. It's 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. I'm glad everyone's still hanging because it's late. Still got 118 people hanging in here. I really appreciate the hell out of it, guys. If you're hanging out here in the background, I appreciate you for being here. Anybody that hasn't, please hit the thumb. Please hit the like. I'm going to grift just for a second. I got a moment to do so. We do a lot of stuff here on Publicly Buzzed. I'm dropping videos all the time. I drop regular videos anytime news breaks. I do lives at least 3 times a week, sometimes more. Do reaction videos. Lots of stuff happening here on Publicly Buzzed. And if you do subscribe, make sure you hit the 3 little dots on the side. Make sure you then click those 3 little dots. Make sure you click all. All is the best way to get everything personalized. Doesn't necessarily notify you when every live goes. So yeah, glad everyone could be here, man. It's been a fun one. Yeah, I like to get into conspiracy stuff deep, man. I like ancient history. Like I love stuff like this. And then these conspiracy streams are not going to quit. Also, I'm getting a little bit buzzed up here. Hell yeah, love this dude. Absolute brilliant man. But yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing. Wow, Ivan Montez. I'd love to do something like that in my life. Will I think as long as it's on his YouTube. If it was on Spotify, I might, but hopefully not. I'm gonna try it. We'll risk it. How about that? I have no strikes. I don't think if it's on YouTube that it could. I think it's fair use as long as I'm pausing and talking with it. But thank you, Christine, for thinking about that, because I do freak out about that from time to time. But we'll try her out. Shit, who knows? What are you talking about, Planet Liberty? Did you meet him? Are we talking about Graham Hancock? Angel D, what is going on? Well, hey, better late than never. It's 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. I don't know where you're at on planet Earth, but I'm glad that you're here currently. Hell yeah, everybody seems to be into this, loving it. Hell yeah. Did you mean Extreme Championship Wrestling when you said ECW? Probably not. Probably not. They have a wrestling channel. Also, even though I haven't been on that wrestling channel for a minute. Last time I posted there, I think was in December. I put a lot of time into this channel now. Hell yeah. Glad everybody's here. And again, happy birthday to Sam, everybody. It's her birthday. How awesome is that? Hell yeah. Everybody's on the same page here. So good. Happy birthday. Hopefully had a good birthday. Oh, whoa. Okay. Camel Gut Wild now. Shit. Yeah, we're going to be working with Opinionated Idiot definitely in the future. We had a really good time with him tonight on the Drunk Turkey Show, and I think we're going to try to form a little bit of a crime alliance.
Yeah, we need to cover
will.
this stuff a little more too. I mean, this is what I'm into right now, dude. I don't know if have you heard of Uncharted X,
No,
their YouTube channel. He's been on Joe Rogan as well.
I'll
So he's
check that
big
out
time.
because I love stuff like this, dude.
He's fucking, dude. His videos are insane. His podcasts are insane. He's done Joe Rogan. There's another podcast that I can't think of right now the name of it, but the stuff he says and the evidence that he has. This is a guy that actually goes to these sites and fucking takes video. Here's the thing. Archaeologists, if you want to be an archaeologist today, right, you have almost no path of income, right? Like if
Right.
you want, if that's something you're into, you could be passionate about it, but how are you going to make money doing it? You know,
Right. Unless you become
You're
famous.
or become, or just fall into the mainstream garbage, the bullshit the
Mhm.
archaeologists push, the mainstream archaeologists push. But I mean, yeah, if you become famous, then maybe you could get let into some of these sites that are restricted to outsiders, and you find things. They find things that are fucking unbelievable, truly unbelievable, that make zero sense. And I'm sure this guy's about to talk about it, so let's get into it.
Let's go.
Stunning of all these ancient structures. And the stones are immense, and some of them were cut from a quarry that's hundreds of miles away. How do you think they did that?
Well, some of them, the granite in the Great Pyramid comes from more than 500 miles to the south. If you look at the famous King's Chamber, its walls and its roof are, the ceiling of the King's Chamber are all made with gigantic granite blocks.
Stunning detail.
Stunning detail. Those blocks on the the roof of the King's Chamber weigh 70 tons each. Now, Egyptologists will tell you that, oh, they could move heavy blocks because they put them on wet sand and they push them along on wet sand. Well, maybe if you're just at ground level, that will do. But when you're 350 feet above the ground, as you are in the King's Chamber, that won't do at all. I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it, how they lifted those stones, how they brought them up to that level. I think we're looking, again, at a lost technology. And it was
Pause it
this
right there.
ancient apocalypse.
That's something that I have found that years, we're talking years right now, of people have been talking about. Oh, honestly, Ancient Aliens, right? That's when it became like mainstream to actually question this stuff. Everybody starts questioning it because of that show on the History Channel, right?
Yeah.
That was a long fucking time ago, right? When did Ancient Aliens start?
When we
That
were
was
still in
early-
high school, yeah.
Early 2000s, right?
Yep.
Nobody
least.
to this day has been able to, nobody's put the money up, or nobody's tried, or whatever the issue may be. You think somebody would have figured out how they did it, right? Just try. Just fucking try. Do
Yeah.
it yourself.
Because what
And
they tell
nobody
us
can
doesn't
do
make
it.
sense.
Nobody can do it. You
Right.
know why nobody can do it? Because there is no fucking solution.
Mm.
We have no solution today for how the fuck they could do that with the tools that they supposedly had.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. With the precision. Like,
Yeah. And the size of the
um,
project.
what made you, Creepy Crystal, real quick, what made you say that about ECW? Did you see like one of my tapes in the background? I've also got an ECW hat over here. I've worn it once on
12,800
here.
years ago, that wiped that from the human memory banks almost completely. Not entirely completely, because there were survivors, but removed most of it. Randall will tell you, sea level rise, it creates a powerful high energy zone. Anything that was existing on those flooded coastlines has just been pounded to hell. I mean, talk about it, Randall.
Well,
This
yeah, I
dude
mean,
rules
it's going to be
too.
a lot more energetic
Randall
than
Carlson.
now. I mean, imagine your sea level rising at 3 or 4 times at least.
And again, these guys
faster
have
than
been
we've
exactly
seen.
what you were saying beforehand, shamed in the communities where they work, until literally right now they're being vindicated.
Rise in the last century. And within there, juxtaposed are these episodes of very rapid sea level rise. So you're talking about a very energetic intertidal zone. And anything that's there, short of large megalithic blocks, is going to be utterly obliterated by the time the process is through. And I think that this is one of the things that, you know, the archaeologists and the prehistorians, people are looking at that, have failed to take into account the severity of these events we're talking about. Because the question always is, where are the artifacts? Where's the pottery? Where is the evidence that this civilization existed? And I have 2 responses to that. One, you don't realize the extent of the total remodeling of this planetary surface that took
I'm gonna remember
place.
that, Kristen. Kristen Brown, she said that she warned me about this. Anything Joe Rogan gets a strike, And I said I'm gonna risk it, like doing it like, you know, with the fair use way of us pausing and talking.
Yeah.
And it's actually from his YouTube video. It's not actually from Spotify. I think I'm good. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna
probably
remember
still
that,
will.
Kristen. Make sure you
Yeah.
come back in. I'll let you know if it happens. And I said I'd risk it. I was like, well, we'll see. I'm gonna risk it.
You should be able to dispute it though, honestly, because we are doing commentary.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll be good. I've been on YouTube for a few years and I've gotten pretty good at that side of it. Again, knock on wood, because it can definitely happen. But
Mhm.
this is from Joe Rogan's YouTube channel. Like, this is not from Spotify, which I could actually see happening. And I'll keep you
Because,
updated there.
I mean, we could get into some of the stuff here. I have tons of images where I think maybe we'll get a chance to pull up a couple of really awesome drone footage here before we're done. But once you begin to wrap your head around this, you go, really? You know, it's like, imagine that you drop an atomic bomb on a city and it completely obliterates it. And then a short while
Hey,
later,
anybody's ever seen the Action Bronson show where he gets baked and watches Ancient Aliens? That's a great show.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
dope as hell.
Oh,
drop
shit.
another one on the
Yeah.
same place. What's going to be left? And then 10,000 years, 20,000 years goes by. What are you going to what are you going to find? What are you going to look for? You know, it's going to be just rubble that gets reincorporated.
Joe Rogan is literally the largest platform on the planet, though.
It is.
Isn't that crazy?
It actually is.
It's
It
insane.
pisses so many people off. But it is. There's actually no denying numbers.
No, it 100% is the
by
largest
a
platform
large
on the
margin.
planet.
What is it? The
Yeah.
last, and it might be bigger now, but the last time I actually looked or knew or heard a story, 12 million users per episode. That's astronomical.
His
Like,
his little story is fucking fascinating too. Where you've seen the Tom Green.
Yeah.
Tom Green had him on
Yep.
his show, and Joe
He's
Rogan has
literally
the
praising
epiphany.
him for he's like, you're doing it. Like,
And Joe Rogan's like, "This is it. This
Hey.
is what we have to do." And Joe Rogan fucking did it, dude.
The
And look
episode-
at him now.
the episode of Joe Rogan where he has Tom Green on rules because he's praising him the whole time. He's like, no, you started this. I took it from you. Like, he's really
Yep.
praising him for it. He didn't just, I love that. Like,
It's fucking unbelievable, man.
because Tom
now-
Green back in the day had, before the age we're in now, in like 07, 08, was running the cables for basically a television studio through his house to do this.
Yep.
Where now you don't have to. We're doing it right now. What is impossible 20 years ago, 15
And
years
their
ago,
fucking
guys.
grandmother has a podcast now.
We don't need the system. We don't need Hollywood. It's times have changed, dude. Like, but yeah, Rogan
Yep.
actually took that model and I mean, it killed it. Whether you like him or not, I know, you know, that could probably be decisive as well. But you know,
We are still getting fucked and held down though by YouTube and whoever owns the platform that we're on. Whether it be YouTube or any other platform,
Yeah.
we're still being that's the thing. If you could if you had your own, if you could literally broadcast it yourself and people could get it and find it that
Right.
way, I mean that would be the ideal.
That's
but we have
that's
to.
the deep level, right?
It is, yeah, and it's impossible. It's tough, man.
Into the
You have to grow your following on a platform like YouTube
Yeah.
or Facebook or whatever it may be,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe you could move it somewhere else if you wanted to. That's what I mean. That's kind of like what Crowder's trying to do, right? He's trying
That's
to
what
create
he's
his
doing.
own.
Yeah. One
yeah.
of the good ones that's doing it. Yeah. And there's a few, I think, that have done it, but not at that level, right? Like, that level's nuts. Like,
You gotta have the fame and money, man. You gotta have followers and you gotta have money.
money is a big, big part of it.
Theological stratum, and it's going to be very difficult to differentiate, for example, from what's called a conglomeratic rock, which is basically where you have just a huge jumble of broken rock cemented together. Right now, within there could be all kinds of stuff that's not even recognized as being artificial in the sense that humans had anything to do with it. The other thing is when we talk about these ancient technologies, if we're only looking for a mere reflection of ourselves, we could overlook it completely because I think there's evidence that exists now. I mean, some modern researchers whose work has been buried or suppressed, I think we're getting very close to rediscovering some of the things that
He's talking about that right now.
our ancient ancestors were up to. And
Dude, I'm telling
maybe
you, these
this would
guys
be worth a whole
blow
show
my
in
mind.
itself. we could dive into this, and I don't want to get
I think
into that
if you
today.
haven't seen
Well, what
Uncharted
kind of
X,
Oh, I'm
I'm
going
about
to.
blow
Yeah,
your
no, that
mind.
was right up my alley. Dude, that's my
yeah,
late night stuff.
Well, I
No,
guess
we're gonna watch that next.
Yeah,
We're gonna
we'll
watch
check
that
out a
as
video.
soon-
Yeah, we'll go on his channel and you'll pick one out. But dude, that's my.
No, do his Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, that'll be
interview.
cool. Well, I don't want to
Yeah.
risk 2 Joe Rogans just in case Kristen
Oh, no,
Brown
that's
is
fine.
correct.
Actually, I have another one that's actually also insanely good.
Okay, cool,
Concrete Podcast is what it's called.
cool.
I shouldn't
So
really get
now, Kristen, I'm still taking you into account here. I'm not risking 2 just in case. I'm going to keep you updated on
Just
that.
in case.
Just in case,
if
because
if
YouTube is
one does it,
finicky
the
and
other one's-
funky.
The thing is, if you did it once, the other one's also going to do it. Or if you didn't, if the first one,
It would
it's
count.
going to get
I'd
hit
say
no
it'd
matter
count
what.
Twice is what sucks.
Oh, 2 strikes, you
I
think?
think if it'd be 2 different videos, I think it would. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, let's not do that.
Again, knock on wood, I've been completely good on this channel. Again, I have another channel. It's a wrestling channel, and I've played with that a bunch. I've actually been to YouTube jail, essentially, where you got to take like you have to go through their class to get back into the good graces because I got such a hard strike. Again, I'm a pro wrestling fan. This company called New Japan Pro Wrestling, the only company that's ever given me a hard strike. The World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, the biggest wrestling company in America, didn't give me a hard strike. They give you strikes like the Leprechaun movies. They give you like these. They give you strikes where you can still use the content, but they get the revenue if
different
it made any.
levels.
It doesn't matter. And then there's
They-
strikes like the
they don't
David
even
Lynch
want
one
the
where
money
they
from it.
block it. So you don't want that one, but it doesn't matter. You're not getting a hard strike where it affects you. There's 3 strikes on YouTube and you're literally taken down. So I got 1 hard strike on this wrestling channel from New Japan Pro Wrestling for a match that they took down. And the only time that's ever truly happened, and there's this thing, it's called like a YouTube school or a copyright school. And like, you have to like, and you have to watch these videos. You can't not watch the videos. And then you have to take a test at the end. It's stupid, bro.
That is actually
It's
insane,
really
yeah.
dumb. But again, knock on wood, I again, like where I've been on YouTube for now 3 years, basically. Like I have kind of gotten a feel of it a little bit. So, but Kristen, I'm going to keep you updated on this because who fucking knows? And Rogan is
He's
crazy.
probably right because he is so big.
He's
you know?
crazy. That's why I'm keeping it in my head, actually.
And Spotify, does Spotify still own
But
all
I
of this too?
think, oh, dude, yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, like I think where it's on YouTube and we're literally doing fair use, we're talking halfway through this. We're only 4 minutes into this. Like, I think we're gonna be good. Like, and we might not even watch the whole thing. Go ahead and send me your guy. I'm getting freaked out.
Getting scared now.
Actually, we're already in the video. It wouldn't matter anyways. But yeah, send me your guy. Let's go ahead and see what you got. I'll play a little bit more of this though. I do.
Yeah, this
Get
guy is
into it.
awesome.
Get into
Come
it.
on,
Again, this
Rattle.
guy
We
has
gotta get
also
into it.
been on.
Okay, well,
He's been on Rogan.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
play
so
just a
this-
little bit more of this just because we are in here. But yeah,
This
send
is
me
a
that.
pretty
We'll
good
jump
one.
over to that too.
We've opened the door, sir.
okay. Well, okay.
Because this does rule, man. These
Passing
guys
of
are
the
killer.
HDMI cable.
Oh, I've seen this guy. No, I did. I haven't watched the whole episode, but I've seen these clips because it's about this, and I watch all that
Right.
stuff from Rogan. But I'm gonna
Gotcha.
play this. Yeah, yeah.
That one's
These
not
guys
Rogan though. That's
rule.
a different podcast.
But okay, cool. But yeah, I have seen these guys on Rogan, or this guy.
Yeah, he
There's
brings
2
like all
guys, though, isn't there?
fucking like yeah, there is. But on this podcast, it's just him.
Cool.
A sacred
I'll go
moment.
over that in a minute.
Yeah, I figured you would have had to have seen him.
Well, there are people out there now who have been working on trying to rediscover that.
I'm sure they work with
And-
these dudes. Actually,
And again, I don't want to digress
Yeah.
too much into this now because I would really rather.
these guys are
be able to
literally
get a
like the
whole
legends of it
treatment of
now.
it.
Like I mean, they're getting their grandeur right now. Like it's well deserved. They've literally been ridiculed their entire careers,
That
and they
might
stuck
kinda
by their fucking guns.
derail us a
For
little
real.
bit from this.
That's
But
what's amazing.
Real G's right here.
there are people
Yep.
who've been working on these things for decades now, basically in secret. And I've had the privilege of talking to some of these people over the last 6 or 7 years. And right now, as we're speaking, there's a group of people who are basically going to open source a whole lot of stuff in the next 3 months, so it can never get suppressed again. And that's why I'd like to come back and talk in more
Well, I'd
detail
love to
about
have you come back and talk about it, but we got to talk about it a little bit now.
They don't want
Okay,
to. I
well,
remember this video.
And Rogan's hilarious. He's like, "This is a long ass show. Just go."
There's
He's
a
like, we have to
laboratory
talk
right
about
now
it.
in the Maldives that's been building prototypes using these technological principles, which are based on implosion rather than explosion. And the inspiration for this,
Tesla's ideas are part of it. I think you mentioned
Tesla's ideas are very much a part of it. Yes, Tesla's ideas are very much a part of it. So is, I don't know if you ever, Victor Schauberger, who did the work with water and discovered, look at, Jamie, could you look up Victor? Oh, I have the,
Jamie, could you please?
I have the cable now, don't I?
Take it back. Let me find a video.
Well, no. Let me pull something up here, and
He is Jamie
I think
right
the key
now.
thing is we're looking at
Right.
technologies
He didn't even realize it. He's
are
like,
not
"Oh,
the
wait."
same as ours.
Yes.
And that's
He's
partly
embodying
why
Jamie.
archaeologists can't see them, because they're looking for us.
I don't know if you know how important these guys are, but when they come on, they become Jamie. That's how important.
the past,
That's how
and they're not
fucking
open
good
to the
they are.
possibility that there are whole other kinds of technology that could be used.
Right.
I always go back to the ancient Egyptian traditions that speak of priests chanting as these huge blocks were lifted into the air. Were they using some kind of sound effect, some kind of use of sound that was able to manipulate matter? We know that sound can manipulate matter, as a matter of fact, but they're lifting these blocks. Again and again, it appears in ancient Egyptian traditions. The notion that we could lift huge blocks with sound seems absurd to archaeologists, and yet it's there in the traditions of the Egyptologists. And what Randall's talking about now,
Dude, even
is
to that,
people who
that
are
sounds crazy, but like the human brain is insane. Like willpower of human beings is insane. Like, and one thing that I think, dude, I think that we've been through this before. Like, I think that we're not necessarily exactly this, but I think that technology
There was a great reset.
Exactly. I think that technology's probably happened before throughout time. And like, maybe not exactly like this, but enough to where people, and clearly it has, for fuck's sake, what we're talking about, dude. Like, you can't make this without actual precision tools. Like,
It does seem like it. It definitely does.
working on a whole alternative path of technology, and maybe that's a rediscovery of the kind of technologies that were used by a lost civilization.
I think that's what's important about what you're saying, is that we have this very limited idea of technology based on what we've experienced.
Yeah.
But if you had anatomically similar human beings that lived for thousands and thousands of years,
Stuff just keeps on getting older.
If you think about the amount of progress that we've achieved as modern humans just in the last few hundred years,
Yeah.
if you go back 400 years to now, it's a stunning amount of achievement.
Absolutely stunning. Yeah.
And if you have a completely different path of technology,
Yeah.
one that's not utilizing internal combustion engines and cranes and the like that we experience
leverage,
today.
mechanical advantage, everything that our tech is based around.
Something that's insanely advanced, tens of thousands of years of a different path.
Yeah.
And that may be what we're looking at.
And that may begin to explain these otherwise inexplicable monuments that have survived.
Jamie, do I need?
Randall's like, Jamie, I don't know what the hell's
This
going
is
on.
the work of Nikola Tesla, and he was.
I love these
Again,
guys, though.
This is way too much for us to get in today. That's why
He's
we
not
need to
even
develop
talking
a
to
whole-
Joe. He's like, Jamie,
Jamie.
you're the
Okay,
tech guy. I
we'll
need
talk
you
about
right
this.
now. I don't need Joe.
But this is this was the inspiration. You know, his work was suppressed. A lot of his patents were taken, sealed up by the U.S. government for whatever reason. I don't know. But this is some of the stuff that's now being developed using his ideas plus some of the others. This is the man I've been talking to for the last 7 years.
Malcolm Bendall?
Yes. And again, I don't want to get into it today, but like, here's an example of what they're doing. This is a generator
wanna
that has
get
no
into
moving
it
He
parts.
probably would
It's all
like to
based on
prepare.
Right,
You know?
geometry, pure geometry. And here's the basic idea.
But he
'cause I think
fucking
I-
knows what he's talking about. He
He
knows what
could,
he's
he
what
could
wants.
go into it. Yeah.
He could, but he doesn't want to end
Damn
up
it,
fucking up something sounding silly. But it's
Probably
not something
smart. I mean,
exactly.
hell,
It is.
especially for guys that's been ridiculed their whole lives, right?
Because I mean, fuck, I'll go on one of our lives, and I could sound like a complete
Oh,
idiot
dude, I
because I
say
don't
dumb
know.
shit literally all the
I didn't
time.
do
Yeah.
I didn't do the research. I'm
Yeah.
just spouting things that just I don't know. Who knows what but I don't care, right? I don't
Yeah.
really care about it.
This point,
He cares.
resonance
This
frequencies,
is his
This is his
everything
life. Yeah.
this is his livelihood. This
If
is
you
his
ever-
job.
like
This is his
If we had
career.
an electric razor, we plugged it in,
Any
turned it
literally
on,
any,
set it
and
on the-
especially he's on the biggest stage in the world right now. Anything he says is going to be
Yeah.
scrutinized.
Like we were just talking about.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's
He
not
knows
wrong
that.
for
Yeah.
wanting to prepare. Yeah.
He's being smart.
table. Bzz, it's going to move around, isn't it? You ever
Mm-hmm.
seen that?
Yeah.
That's the beginning of the concept because it's vibrating. Everything vibrates at a frequency, and if you know that frequency, you can control things. And I think that's the basic idea of what we're looking at here. And it's all based upon the ancient.
El
numbers.
Guapo, this is not
And they're
live.
they're
This is
developing technologies
an
right
old
now, and they
JR
have been.
or a Joe Rogan experience.
recently
Yeah, we're just getting
episode.
into some deep shit, actually.
And
I saw a lot of people calling out for El Guapo on the Drunk Turkey stream earlier.
Yeah, El Guapo rules, man. I like his
Did you see
vibe.
that?
I did. I
We
wasn't
need
really
El
paying attention to the
Guapo
chat
on.
too much. But I
Yeah, a
saw
lot
him in
of
there, and I
people
did
were
say hey at one point. But
I think a couple of people were saying we need El Guapo on the panel.
yeah, dude, I like El Guapo. I liked when he was on their show, and I actually keep up with all what he's doing on his channel. He dropped a cool video today about Jack the Ripper. I like him, man. He's got a cool vibe.
Shout out El Guapo.
given the go ahead, that
We
I
might
could
have to
talk-
try
I've
to
been-
figure out. Maybe we could get him on the panel.
Yeah, dude, we could definitely have him on our show, anyways.
sitting on
For
this
sure.
for
Michael
7 years
Guapo.
without talking about it because they asked.
Yeah,
me not to
we
talk
are live
Oh,
right
yeah,
now.
we're
Yes.
live as
There's
hell.
patents in place.
We
And,
live as hell.
That's all happened since last summer. So we're now free to talk
That's
about it.
hilarious.
So that's what I'm saying. I think it would be a good idea to get me back on here. We can look at it. I'm going to lay this on Graham so he can look at it too, because I really want to get Graham's feedback on this.
I mean, would it be fair to say that there's an element of a rediscovery of a
Yes.
lost technology from the past?
That's what I think. A rediscovery of a lost technology, dude. That's literally what I think. Like,
I know it. Signs seem to point that way, right?
Like, and then when you
it
think
sounds fucking crazy.
dude, when
though.
you
It
say it,
sounds
and if you
insane.
said it in front of scientists, they're gonna laugh at you, right? Like,
And where's the evidence? Where's the there should be evidence of these tools somewhere.
Well, then you kind of think about how just within the last, even in time periods that we can see and watch, how quickly the Earth takes everything over, dude. Like, and this has
Yeah,
been
but at the same
millions
time,
of,
we
not
do
millions,
have
but thousands
evidence.
of years.
At the same time, we do have evidence of a lot of stuff.
And
So
we definitely now have evidence with the sonar technology that stuff was where it shouldn't be, where there's now forests so dense that you can't even walk through it.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, all right. So if we think about the types of stones they were working with were so hard that you'd have to have diamond to cut through it, basically.
right? Yeah.
Those diamond tools should exist somewhere.
Yeah.
They should be findable. The diamond
My
is
point
not
to
going
that
to.
would be that it's been so many
disappear.
thousands of years. Because think about just hundreds of years. Think about just the 100 years when you see on one of these shows where they find something, or have you ever watched the videos where like they have the the metal detector things, and they're looking for stuff, and it's like that show, Curse of Oak Island, when they're actually out there looking,
Yeah.
and they actually have to dig a little bit to find something crazy. That's only like 200
Yeah.
and 300, 400 years old. We're talking thousands, dude. How deep into the
Right.
earth is it with all the different erosion
True.
and all the different
Yeah.
crazy storms that happen and all the different places on the earth? That'd be my
Maybe the
point to
tools
that.
are just so deep.
It's so buried,
It's
but at the same time, I
it's-
feel like I'm speaking crazy.
It's 1,000 times worse than finding a needle in a haystack.
Right.
It's basically impossible. Yeah.
Right.
Unless somebody was literally buried with one of these tools, and we found that tomb, we're not going to find it.
That's a good point on your side, because now we have found some of these ancient tombs. We found old mummies and bodies.
And why would they be buried with a fucking tool?
That's a good point too.
Yeah.
At the same time, yeah. Because anybody that would have probably been working would have not been their level. Like these people are buried in they're kings and queens and the leaders. Like the
things that
workhorses
we
are
are
not going to
finding-
be where we can find them
Exactly.
probably. Hell, they
The
might have
things that
burned
we
their
are-
dead.
And I mean, those tools were never
And the
buried
tools
in the
were
first place. They were just left out somewhere or traded or moved along or yada, yada, yada. And those have been buried by just, like you said, the earth. Because because the things we find are usually ceremonial tombs, right? Tombs of people, mummies, and they're buried with riches and things.
Yeah,
They're not
yeah,
buried with tools. But we found cities. We found
yeah.
cities.
That's what I was mentioning with the sonar
so
technology.
so if we're finding cities, why are we not finding tools within those cities?
Good point. Good point. Real quick, I do want to call this out. Christine Brown, $5 super chat. She's saying, and I'm going to take this bet. I am out, but if I am right, you owe me merch. Deal, but I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, if I get a strike, I will get you something first off the hot presses of the merch, which is coming soon, folks. We're working on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll take that deal. We'll do something. Yeah,
She's probably right.
we're gonna see, and I'm gonna be 100% transparent.
Have we ever done anything Joe Rogan on here?
So wait, hold on. If you're still in here, Christine, we do have to, because there's levels to the strike. Are we talking a hard strike or just a copyright violation? Because a copyright violation is not necessarily a strike.
Yeah.
So I'm talking hard strike. If this gets me a hard strike, you get merch. If it's just a normal copyright that I can deal with. How about this? Because there's the level of the copyright that David Lynch fucked me with, right? I had to actually remove it. If I have to remove this, or if I get a hard strike, you get merch. If
There
I
we
can
go.
keep it and I get a violation that's fine, you don't get merch.
I think that makes sense.
I like that. I also love it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, if you've got to remove it, she gets free merch.
Let's see, brother. That's where I'm at right now.
God damn, it's a whole bottle.
Yeah, I bought a whole new one today. It's
It's
a
the
fifth.
whole bottle. What is that? 2 drinks? How many drinks you had out of that thing?
I've had 3 drinks.
God damn.
Yeah. Because
You
it's
know
up
what?
to here.
If I bought a Crown bottle like
That
that motherfucker would probably be almost half gone.
Well,
right
I'm
now.
also hosting a show. I'm trying not to get obliterated.
Oh fuck yeah! I'd be
And
getting.
I'm getting
obliterated.
buzzed up.
I can't
It's
say anything.
publicly buzzed, not publicly drunk.
That's a good
I
point.
do get drunk often though.
I'm only drinking beer, and I think this is like my 3rd or 4th beer, so it's not even comparable to Crown.
And I didn't want to get too drunk on Drunk Turkey, even though that's their name. They do get drunk.
Yeah,
But I wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep it within the
Keep up with-
realms.
You can't keep up with Big Blue over there.
Big Blue keeps it going, baby.
He'll chug a beer in your face right on camera.
Yeah, I'm not getting obliterated on here. I've gotten a little bit slurry before, but that's actually when I start to chill her out and we start to really roll her down.
I do that too. I get there's usually a point very close to the end of the show where I start like I can't string a fucking sentence together. I'm slurring, things get weird. And I can feel it. I can feel my words like slipping, and I'm like, all right. This is
Same. That's how
crazy.
I start to feel. Angel D. Hey, I will say this: as much as I've drank, I definitely shouldn't be driving, or I wouldn't be at a normal job. So,
Yeah, for sure.
Angel D. And hell yeah, brother. Angel D. Is there a specific subject, or can we ask about BK? Go ahead and ask. Yeah, I would answer anything you
It's
got
up.
there.
You know what blows my mind? The chat does this a lot, where they feel afraid.
They're not used to that, right? They're not
Don't be
used to being able to
afraid.
talk about whatever the hell they want to.
Say whatever the fuck you want in here.
But I'm going to
The
go ahead and
chat
switch over
is
this. Let's check this
legitimately.
one out.
That is crazy though. That chat is actually scared sometimes. They're
Now,
scared.
you can say
to,
anything
like,
you want in here.
They're scared to bring up a subject. That's wild to me. That always blows my mind.
Hold on.
It's not right. It's not cool at all.
I've seen it in channels. Yeah, people
Channels
will,
shouldn't be-
shut down.
Yeah, channels
stuff.
shouldn't be like hating on people or I'll argue with you, I'll tell you that I think you're not right, but I'm not going to shit on you or ban you.
Head change is the right word. But yeah, no, I see that way too often. People, we've had it in our chat how many times now?
Yeah, we see it constantly.
Yeah, I'm going to go into this video. Let's check this one out a little bit here. This is from who? Let's promote the channel. They're probably huge. They probably don't need it, but they're okay. 266 concrete clips. The granite boxes
this
hidden
guy.
in Egyptian tunnels are still unexplained.
Yeah, these boxes make no goddamn sense. Change the scene. Are you playing it?
Oh shit, hold on. We're not on the internet. My bad. That's
Nope.
what happens. I start getting buzzed up. See,
There it is.
y'all calling me out. I can't even keep
gotta
the
show
show
the
going.
show.
In fact, they
still.
just opened this up for tourism. It's actually a really good thing is that the Egyptian authorities are opening up more things. They seem to be understanding that like people are interested in the mystery and they want to see stuff. So thankfully they just did a good job renovating it and opened it up for tourism. But yeah, so that you have this step pyramid structure, allegedly the proto-pyramid, I think was actually built by the dynastic Egyptians. But it's built over a massive pit in the ground. That's like, it's probably 100 feet.
Okay, Angel. Okay, I wanted to ask you if you saw the channel talking about the reflection of the Brent. I've seen people talking about it, but I don't think I've seen a specific video about it. I've seen the picture, and I'm not going to lie, I can't really make heads or tails about it. I've seen people on Twitter freaking out about it. I've seen people thinking that there's a reflection of a knife in his eye, but I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, I can't make that out personally. Angel D, the reflection in the eye of Brent Kopacka is King Road in the Dog Murphy's. Okay, and I've seen people say that. They're trying to actually make a... I've also seen people say that they think it's like someone standing over Ethan, maybe? But I haven't dove into that. I must be honest.
What's going on?
There's a picture, I guess, of allegedly Brent Kopacka, and it's like a close-up of his eyeball, and there's like...
Oh my god, people are CSI and some shit now.
Shadowy figures in his
They're
eye.
enhancing shit in his eyeball.
It's hard to make out. I mean, I can't make any. I can't. I literally can't make heads or tails of it. I don't
That's
know.
crazy. Come on, guys. Are we being serious? Are we in a fucking TV show?
But
God
but I would
damn
need
it.
to. I would need
Let's
to
relax.
I'll need to
honestly.
see whatever video. Hey, hold on. Publiclybuzzed@gmail.com. Angel D, send me the video you're talking about because I would like to see it. I mean,
Again,
if I can be convinced of something, let's try it.
I'm the one bringing it back to reality. Let's be fucking
I'm
real
still
for a
wanting to
second.
see it.
Jesus Christ. That sounds crazy. All right, I need another beer. I'll be
Get
right
that
back.
beer, dog.
I would
Deep,
like to see
about
the image
45.
though. You might convince me.
I can find that.
Also
pretty quick.
feet wide, square, and you look down onto this thing, and there's at the bottom there's a massive multi-piece granite box that's made up of like 32 pieces of granite weighing anywhere up to about 5 or 6 tons each. I
No,
think
that's creepy. I'll give you the creepy vibe. You said we could talk about. You can talk about it, and then I'll give you my actual answer. That's what you're going to get here. You're going to get a real-time answer. You can talk about literally anything. I know where the picture's
box
at
in that
now.
pit
Hold
were
on.
likely there, and that the
You literally have to
Egyptians
just
constructed that step pyramid
go to
over the
Twitter
top
real
of it.
quick.
Imhotep designed it, and I think that was then claimed and used as a
I
burial
can't-
site
I mean, I must be
for
honest, I can't
Joseph,
make
the
shit
the
out about
pharaoh.
it. So
What
I'm
is
gonna be
this
honest about
box
it.
right here?
This box,
Yeah.
this is one of my favorite boxes at the Serapeum. So this is in, so the Serapeum is at Saqqara. It's a series of underground galleries, beautiful gallery, like these tunnels you could drive a Volkswagen down. They're huge and straight.
Wait for Dan
and
to
some
get
of
back
them
and
go
I'll
from like
show it
200
to
meters.
her.
And inside the Serapeum, you have 25 of these things, which are these single piece, like 100-ton granite
it the Crime
boxes. They're
Circus one?
insane. It's
I
absolutely
love Crime
insane. And
Circus.
this one in particular
Nice.
is
I'll
in
have
an
to check it out.
off-limits area that we went into. That's
I just
rarely
now did some reaction videos, or a reaction video to Crime Circus this week. So yeah, I love some Crime Circus.
seen by tourists.
Didn't agree with his take on the DoorDash stuff, but I like the stuff.
It may be the biggest one there. It's made out of like a black granite, or it might even be granodiorite. It's not. We don't know exactly where the quarry for this thing was. That's its lid sitting on top. And it actually isn't finished. It developed a crack at the end, and it
wait
was
till Dan
for
gets
some
back, I'll
reason
show
just
that
shelved
picture.
there. They decided, well, we'll just
See what
tuck
he
this thing away
says.
in
You're
a
not going to
corner
like it.
in this underground structure and leave it there because it was never quite finished.
That thing weighs 100 tons.
With the lid, yeah. So
So I was
the
in
box
Drip's. He did a video premiere earlier today. Yeah, I hung out in there for a minute. It was actually, I think, another part of the DoorDash thing from the last video. Yeah, I was like, dude, here's $5. Thanks for the content. Like, I appreciate the hell out of that, bro. Like,
itself might be about 70 and the lid's probably 30. And the lid's been
Yeah.
pushed back, and it's Yeah, it's
me
it's
too.
insane, and there's 25 of them. And this here's the
Like,
thing:
I
like,
respect
we've
the
never
hustle,
made
respect
anything
the
like
grind. He's
this
out
in our
there
civilization.
killing it, quite honestly.
We don't. Not saying we couldn't, but
You don't have to agree with anybody or everybody now. Me and Dan disagree basically all the time now.
an interesting experiment. Chris Dunn went to like a granite processing company and said, "Hey, what would it cost? How could you make us one of these boxes?" And they're like,
Right.
"Well, you know, for starters, the lump of granite's going to be a ton amount of money." And then it's like, we just wouldn't, we couldn't make the box without developing specific tools to do it, because the way they'd make it is
Yeah, go
they'd cut
check
like
out
5 slabs and then bolt them together, you know, like a floor and then 4 walls, and they
this
bolt it together into a
video.
box. These are single pieces.
This is the video.
So
this is the short clip.
what's
There's also a
impressive about
live
that is
stream
it's
that I
like
did this week where I go
you,
over
you
the
have to
entire
quarry
DoorDash
this
video
one
that he
block
dropped
of
earlier in the week,
stone
but this
and
is
then
just a
dig it
small
out.
clip of the
You
one
have to
that
dig all of
I
the
did just-
inside out, and some of the
where I don't
examples of
agree.
precision in the
Let
Serapeum
me know in
are
the comments what
absolutely
you think.
remarkable. You have perfect 90-degree corners in some of the boxes, perfect 90-degree interfaces with the lids, and some of these walls.
Oh shit! Yeah, see right there. Turn down the video audio a notch or two. It's drowning out your mic, brother. Good call. Thank you, El Guapo. But that's the buzz creeping through there. But yeah, thank you.
Maintain that geometry from like being 11 feet apart. Like, that's insane. Like, that's one of the major
Super smart.
challenges of this is in
No, Guapo just hanging out to keep
designing
it
and
going there.
maintaining that type of relative geometry in a space where you can't afford to make any mistakes.
Yeah, one
So
of
as
the
you cut down, if
things
you
about this, what he's talking about right now, that's insane, is this box is there's a box that it's basically like a casket, you could say, made out of stone with a lid and everything. This thing is positioned in a space that would, I mean, this thing is like 2 tons, 3 tons, or something like that. It's insane. It's thousands of pounds, and it's positioned in it's when you walk to this thing, you're walking down a narrow hallway where like you may have like arm's length to touch the walls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a long hallway that this thing is down in, and it's sitting in a corner, just or not a corner, but like a little caveat, like a little space. There's like a hollowed out space specifically for this box, and there's more of these. There's multiples of these in this room, right? And you would have to literally carry this fucking thing in there. And I mean, this guy, he even mentions it in this clip. He did the math. It would take like 350 people to carry this thing.
Wow.
Based on its weight. Like if each man could carry 200 pounds, you know, it would take
Right.
350 men to carry this thing in here. There's not enough space in that hallway for 350 men
Right.
to carry this thing in there, right?
Or probably even to carry it at all.
The other explanation is it was carved out in its space, I guess, right? Maybe it was carved out inside of the space that it sits in.
Right.
But even
There's
the
already
precision,
there's already so
there's
many
no
other
light.
anomalies surrounding it.
There's no light in there. It's pitch black in there,
Right.
and they have these insanely precise corners, 90-degree angles. The whole thing was hollowed out.
None of it makes
The
sense.
amount of man work it would take to, for one, cut the box out, and then you have to actually dig into the box to cut to hollow it out. It would take years.
Yeah, dude.
Years and like more than one lifetime to do this.
Yeah, dude.
It's unbelievable.
So much of it doesn't make sense. Like,
It makes zero sense.
all right, I'm gonna show you that picture. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. I told them that they're not gonna like your answer. Are you ready for?
It's gonna look like fucking garbage, ain't it? It's gonna look stupid.
Let me zoom in. Oh no, can I zoom in?
Well, for one, my first.
All right. So here it is.
Maybe you should link it to me.
So this guy says he sees. I personally see the black couch and teal chair on patio. What were you trying to sell us? But yeah, let me send it to you privately.
Yeah, because I want to see it full quality. I don't want to have any degradation here. This is some CSI bullshit, though.
We'll
man.
wrap her back around here.
It's still
Same,
garbage
Guapo.
quality.
Yeah,
Even-
I can't make
it's
anything
still
out of that. I can't make shit out of that. Like it's killing. It kills me.
Fuck outta
Like I don't
here.
know.
Oh my
like
God, dude.
I don't know. I literally don't know. When people
That is nothing.
I just don't know.
That is nothing. That's literally nothing.
I also
I
have no problem
personally
with
see-
trolling them.
I see the black couch and teal chair on patio.
You got to be able to handle it.
Jesus.
But no, he
fucking
does. He handled
Christ.
it well.
Yeah, this shit's silly.
I've seen multiple different. What do you think? Hold on, who said that? I've seen multiple. Angel D, what do you see? Because I've heard multiple things now. Like nobody's even agreeing on what they see.
There's nothing to see. You can't fucking take. You literally can't.
Right here, this person thinks they're seeing a phone. Someone holding a phone. I mean, there's obviously an actual shadow or something in front of them, but how can you make anything out?
It's basically. I mean, it could be. It's like
glare.
a Rorschach test.
It could be a.
It's
light.
a Rorschach test. You can see anything that you want to see in
That's
that.
exactly what it is.
It's fucking silly, guys. CSI isn't real. We can't actually look at the reflection in people's eyes and make up shit. It's not a real thing.
Dude, I
People
hope that Angel brought this up because they really just wanted to fuck with us. That'd be the best.
God damn.
All right. Back to the serious stuff.
You cut something wrong, like you're done. You can't change that whole inside shape, but they've managed to keep these incredibly precise, and you get right down to these little trilinear corners in the bottom corners, and then the walls on it are all polished like mirrors. And there's 25 of them. Now, they're not all finished.
What time, El Guapo?
Willow said, "I see a man about a dog." That's a great response.
That is a great response. El Guapo asking if we want to be on his channel tomorrow.
Whoa. Oh shit. I mean,
asked him what time. Late would be good, probably during the day. I'll probably definitely be busy.
Yeah, give us
but
an
the later,
Eastern
the better.
time. Eastern time, and how long it might last.
That'd
you
be
think?
dope. I'm down though.
So what's even more remarkable about the Serapeum is it seems like a lot of this work was being done in situ. Like the boxes were being worked on in situ.
What do you mean in situ?
In situation. So they were. There's evidence of multiple steps of work. So that big black box we looked at. Yeah, this is for example is a collection of the boxes.
Look at this. This is what you're talking about. Can you see that on stream?
Yeah.
The lighting's not the best in the Serapeum. You kind of have to see it to understand it. But yeah, these are and they're all housed in offset alcoves from these tunnels. They sit down about 6 or 7 feet. Like the alcoves are sitting down about 6 or 7 feet. So
yeah, it's like kind of like a horse stable, right?
Kind of, yeah.
They're all in their own little stables.
Yep. And they're all offset. This was a strange thing. There's no two alcoves that line up and look at each other. So you got multiple challenges when it comes to the Serapeum. One of them is, first and foremost, the logistics of moving that stuff in there. Like the roof hasn't been constructed, right? So it's not like if you were doing this from a functional perspective, or the easiest way to do it would be that you'd dig the hole in the ground, you'd lower the boxes down in there, and then you'd build the roof.
What?
It's all underground as well.
That's insane. Like he said, whenever is good for y'all, have a lot less viewers. Oh, dude, no, that's all good, bro. We'll have some fun, man.
Yeah, I'm down.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, so Stevie,
jump in my email though, publiclybuzzed@gmail.com, and we'll set out some plans, bro. Yeah, I like it.
You said you can't do later?
No, later's good for me. The later the better.
Good. Yeah.
Because I'm sure where I go all night tonight,
yeah.
Usually during the day I like to chill out. But I'm down. I'm definitely down.
I've always got I got a 9:30 is when I gotta go run out and pick the wife up. So after 9:30 is when I'm like, I mean, I could do earlier if I have to, but I like to be able to sit down and have some beers,
Yep. get down, actually get a real good chill session.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody go sub up to El Guapo, man. El Guapo, again, he put out the video today on the Jack the Ripper that's pretty fun to watch. Like, I know he was testing some I think some copyright rules on his own there, but I liked what he did there. With some cool edits
and everything over the top of it. That's not what's going on in the Serapeum. These are tunnels that are dug into the bedrock. So
hold on, yeah, okay, fine, hold on. Let me get his channel up real quick. It's in my history because I literally just watched that when I got home from work because I seen it was up. God, my history is going to be full of this fucking Douglas Wilson guy,
is he saying he deleted the video that you were just talking about?
Oh, did he? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I won't find it. Like... well, shit. Hold on. I'll still find his channel.
At least post his channel, yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. Because he did say it was like a test, so. I got you, bro.
And also, anybody that's in there, you can, if you hover over El Guapo's chats and hit the 3 dots, you can go to channel from there. It's super easy.
There you go. Yeah, sub them up because we will most likely be on there tomorrow. Yeah, he said it deleted it already. Did you get a copyright? Did it mess you up, or was I guess you were just testing it out, but hell yeah, dude, absolutely, bro. I can feel the vibes, man. You've always been kind.
Boxes had to be moved in through the front door, maneuvered through all these tunnel systems, and then placed and lowered down into these alcoves. And again, you're looking at blocks of stone that are up to 100 tons, maybe more if they haven't fully been hollowed out and finished. And one of the crazy thing is the biggest boxes in here.
100 tons.
100 tons.
Jesus Christ!
Good
man.
God!
You're talking about a foot of clearance difference in the width of the box to the width of the tunnels. So you have
that's
one
what he's
foot that's
talking
like,
about.
I'd like to use that. That's the Friends episode where they're trying to move a couch up a staircase. Like pivot. Imagine trying to move a 100-ton object in that tight space into an alcove like that. And again, we don't know how they lit it. We don't know how it's pitch. I've been down there where they turn the lights on. It's pitch black. You just go inside a little way and it's pitch black.
You can't light a flame in there.
Well, there's no evidence for that. There's no we see in a lot of temples where they've used fire and flame, and you have that exhaust. You have the soot marks everywhere. There's no evidence for that in the Serapeum.
Really?
Yep, we don't know how they lit it. There's no evidence for heavy use of flame, and then we don't know how they moved it because the calculation to move you need at least 150 people to move, say, a 50-ton box. That means
look at that fucking thing.
Yeah, it's insane. So if you assume one person can pull,
was right about the amount of people. He said 150 to move a 50-ton box, and this was a 100-ton box, so that's 300 people. You would need to move this thing,
dude.
200 kilograms.
And that's based on,
and you can't fit 300 people to lift. Like that's not even possible.
Exactly.
440 pounds. Then you need 150 people to pull a 50-ton load. So you're trying to cram 150 people into these tunnels. It just doesn't make it. It's impossible. So, the Egyptians weren't known to use pulleys or levers or capstans or any of that stuff. I think those things were used later on to
these
push the
boxes
lids off. I think there was the Romans.
I actually
and
mentioned earlier that potentially they carved it out in its space, but the boxes are made out of a different type of stone than where it's sitting. So they definitely carried it in there somehow. They pulled that motherfucker in there somehow.
Yeah, dude, that's insanity. That makes no sense.
Oh shit! Well, El Guapo, you son of a bitch.
Holy shit! El Guapo with a $50 super sticker. Damn,
look at you,
son. Wow, absolutely appreciate that, brother. Damn, that's awesome as hell. Thank you, man. Seriously.
Well, we got a new king of the chat. That's for sure.
Damn, he just demolished it. Oh, he got worried. He said he didn't get the strike though. But yeah, even when I was watching it, it felt like it was from some British, was it from one movie or was that multiple clips? Hell yeah, dude. That's amazing.
The people that came in there and found these sealed boxes were probably like,
What's in them?
What's
in them?
Fill it up again.
What's in them? And so all of them except for one had their lids pushed off when Auguste Marriott
yeah.
found it. I think it was like 1850 something.
What did they put in them?
We don't know. So, well,
a
there's an
crown
explanation for it in the mainstream world is that they were there were sarcophaguses for Apis bulls. So there was a sacred bull called the Apis bull, and they say that these were boxes for Apis bulls. They would mummify these bulls and put them in there.
There we go.
Now,
boom.
all of the boxes were found empty when Auguste Marriott rediscovered the site in like 1850 something,
Boom.
thereabouts, except for one box that had its lid still intact. He couldn't move the lid, so he blew it up. He blew it open with dynamite,
King and
which
queen,
was
that's right.
unfortunately a technique that was probably used a little too often in the early days. Until guys like Flinders Petrie came along and
Yeah,
sort of
dude.
tut-tutted
When they
them.
discovered, one of these was discovered. This is what it's explaining right now. One of these tombs was discovered. Nothing was in it. Nothing. Just an empty fucking box.
That makes
The other
no
ones, I think, that were in there
sense.
had already been raided, right? They had already been opened up. They did find one that was still sealed, and he blew it up because they couldn't lift the fucking lid. They didn't have the manpower to lift the lid off of this thing, so they used dynamite to open it
I
up.
want nothing in it.
But that's how heavy this shit is that we're
Right.
talking about. They literally couldn't open it. They used dynamite to blow it up, and there was nothing in it.
That makes no sense.
So fucking weird.
away from doing that. And he found it was completely empty. There's nothing in it. So we've never found so there's another set of tunnels nearby called the Lesser Galleries, and in those galleries they're like really primitive tunnels compared to the Serapeum, and in those galleries they found wooden boxes with Apis bulls mummified in them.
Oh, really?
So because they found a wooden box in a nearby set of galleries that isn't connected to the Serapeum, they therefore spread that excuse across all of this and go, no, you know what? It's all ceremonial. It's all Apis bulls, which is, it becomes a bit of a meme after a time. Because every single thing is
silly.
ceremonial.
It's so silly.
Or, you know, some sort of representational. There's nothing functional in
And that's
the
the
mainstream
thing.
story.
Yeah, think about that for a second. Every fucking thing you find in these ancient cities or in ancient Egypt or these things that they found, everything's ceremonial. Everything has to do with burial or whatever. What the fuck? What if it doesn't?
Yeah.
Right? What if it has nothing to do with being ceremonial
Yeah, what
or
would they be using it for? Like,
or a tomb or whatever?
because in our heads we're thinking that because it looks like a tomb, it looks like a casket essentially, or
exactly. But there's nothing in there.
But there's nothing.
Then it
in
wasn't, right?
So, what would that have been used for?
And that's the point he's making right now. Is it's literally a meme at this point where everything we find is ceremonial. Even the pots and like the pottery and shit we found is all ceremonial. Everything's fucking ceremonial to mainstream archaeologists. Like nothing is not ceremonial.
Yeah.
It's actually silly when you think about it.
Story of history. It's everything's ceremonial, like everything. And I think it's nonsense. I think there is a functional purpose for some of these sites. Now, I don't know what that is. And maybe our technology hasn't gotten there yet, because, you know, this comes back to my perspective on technology.
The giant fucking pyramid. How would you do that just because for a fucking ceremony to bury dead people?
Mm-hmm.
It seems bizarre to think that.
Well, you could maybe explain it with ego. Like you might have a king that's that egocentric to do it, but there is something. I'm convinced there's something going on with underground boxes. Now it's either boxes in precision boxes in pyramids or in underground in the Serapeum. We see them at Abu Sir. They're all over the place. We see these. There's a real trend of these giant single piece sort of precision carved granite boxes or very hard stone boxes in underground locations or in places like pyramids. Now, there's a lot more that suggests some form of functionality was on these sites as well. One of the things that I was fascinated by that you see it at Giza, it's at the pyramids, it's at Saqqara, it was at Dashur, is that there's signs of infrastructure. That there's literally a channeled block infrastructure beneath the floor tiling. So we know this because the floors the sites have been destroyed and we see it. So you have these U-shaped blocks of sometimes like white calcite or even granite, like these sort of expensive and hard to obtain material with these channels in them that run underneath the floor tile. So you're talking like a 2 or 3 foot thick floor tile of basalt or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Beneath that layer, there's a whole infrastructure of like piping basically that runs beneath these sites, and you see Y joins, you can trace it at Abusir in particular. Like this stuff goes everywhere. But we also see it at Giza, at Dashur, at Saqqara. So there was something going on with that. Like that was a functional thing. It wasn't on display. There wasn't a ceremonial purpose for it. It's an expensive type of stone. They must have had a reason for using it.
Whoa. These guys are going to be in North Carolina in June with Graham Hancock.
Oh,
But
wow.
it's like $500. God, that is really steep. But God, that'd be fun, dude. I would sit there and literally be like a student in college. Like, it would actually be interesting to hear that stuff.
Wow, $500.
That's a lot for one person. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Like, I'm pretty cheap. Like, and that's like not even in the same. Like, I would see that. I'm like, all right. Pull up YouTube.
I mean, it would be cool, but fuck, man.
Let's pull it together, right? I'm gonna start a GoFundMe. The first ever public was GoFundMe. We're taking a
Dude,
trip.
honestly, if you feel like you could go, I would help. Supplement that.
That would be cool. That would be pretty.
Because
Cool.
I know that personally I can't go just because of my personal shit that happens. But if you wanted to go, I would help supplement that.
That would be cool. Yeah, we'll see. That would be dope. When is it? In June? So we got like 2 months.
And take a fucking, well, you got your phone.
Yeah. Document it. Document the
try
trip.
to document it and do it. And
that would be cool.
That could be good.
Yeah, I might do that. I'm definitely gonna look into it. That is steep though, but if thinking about it in that regard for this channel, that might be the way to do it.
Yeah, that might be cool.
Running underneath these sites, and it's like nobody's really willing to explore that idea. That was this a processing site of some sort? Was there some function going on?
Dope. That was cool. Yeah, I love stuff like this. Like,
yeah, that guy is amazing.
Um,
He has his own YouTube channel called Uncharted X, where he goes over this stuff, tons of this stuff, and it is incredible. I mean, the guy is full of documented evidence of another, like an advanced civilization. It's great. Like in my opinion, the man that we just watched, I can't remember his name now.
and I exited out.
Because his name is fucking crazy.
He's Australian, right?
Ben Van Kerkwick.
Okay.
His name. He has a YouTube channel called Uncharted X, and he uploads videos where he has like a whole USB drive or something, probably a USB drive or a hard drive full of pictures and videos where he's allowed to go to these sites. He takes these pictures. He's been to these places, and he creates evidence of these very strange, like, like the machine. They looks like machine tooled.
I've seen some of that
stuff in these stones, and his whole thing is talking about how it would be impossible for us to even do this today, much less in ancient Egypt or 2,000 years ago, or whenever the mainstream archaeologists are claiming these things were created. It's really truly amazing, and he's one of my favorite guys to watch on that stuff.
Yeah, dude, I had a good time there, and yeah, when I saw his face, I instantly was like, "Oh no, I know this dude." So, a lot of the guys I am terrible with the names and stuff, but yeah, I would love to see them, and yeah,
And
we'll
he's
definitely
blowing
see
up.
what's up.
I mean, he was on Rogan, so he's blowing up.
Oh yeah, that's yep. Hell yeah. I am probably going to start winding down here. We've been going for a long time. We started at 8:30 tonight. We're about 6 hours into streaming, 5.5 hours. One thing I'm going to tell you guys right now, though, I'm going to definitely be going back into the Christchurch stuff. We kind of got off a little bit at, like we said would, Friday nights here. Yeah. That'll happen. But we also got off into some nice areas and some tangents that I feel like that everybody, like everybody has a like-mindedness here. Like everybody in the chat was on board. Like, yeah, it was cool, man. I'm enjoying what we're growing here. Again, tonight's been absolutely phenomenal. Drunk Turkey connections
I feel
are
like
being
we
made.
created I feel like we created a proof of concept for this type of stuff, like the ancient aliens type of.
I've heard people in the
ancient-
chat before say get into some of this, right? So
They seem to like it,
yeah, we'll
and we didn't
definitely.
lose viewers. I mean, we kept viewership stayed up, and
It's been good.
people were interested. So might be an avenue we can go down. you know?
Definitely, and hell, we might be going to a conference.
Right.
Everybody in here, thank you guys so much. El Guapo, get in my email, bro. Publiclybuzzed@gmail.com. We'll set that up for tomorrow night. Yeah. And everybody, my God, what an awesome night. It's been killer. We've went up. I mean, a bunch of new people have come over. It's been a great one. Absolutely. Just real quick, going to grift right at the end here. If you are new here, every Tuesday, Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, live streams. Friday nights, per usual, 10:30, unless we're on a stream or something. Time was a little bit late. 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. We get a little bit wilder on Friday nights. Anytime there's news breaking, keep an eye out on the channel. This week's been pretty hot for regular videos and community posts. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. I have a TikTok. And actually, Dan pointed out yesterday, I think the Twitter links broke because I put the wrong link in there. So
you didn't fix it for this one?
I still haven't fixed it.
Good God.
That's why God, I forgot about this very moment. But thank you guys so much. Appreciate the hell out of it. Hopefully you guys come over to El Guapo tomorrow. Come hang out with El Guapo. Dude's chill as hell. Dan, thank you.
Yeah, we might
so
do
much.
that tomorrow. We're going to try to figure that out. And I think we got something close to like 80 subs tonight. That's I'm sure that's off the back of the Drunk Turkey stuff. So thank everybody new that came over and subscribed. That's fucking dope.
How the hell are you going to come
You
in at
guys
2
were awesome.
more in the morning, NorCal? Well, you're probably, I guess you're not on the East Coast.
He's been working. He's been working probably.
Probably so. You have to rewatch this one. This one gets a little, again, every Friday nights it gets pretty fucking wild.
We changed it up with content just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You never know. You never know, guys. Thank you guys so much. If you're heading out the door, hit the like. That helps out the stream in the aftermath, like tomorrow. Get it in the algo. Let other people know that what you found here. If you like it, stick around.
And if you ain't sleepy yet, hop in the Discord.
Yeah, let me
Chat
post the
with some
Discord just
folks.
real quick before we pop off here. Boom. Pop in the Discord. And while I've got you here, let me actually put the actual Twitter in case anybody's on Twitter. Shit. I will say I use Twitter more than Facebook. I actually do post in Twitter, and I actually I get a little sassier on Twitter. I will say that.
Oh, we know already. Gwyneth Paltrow.
The Gwyneth Paltrow video. If you're new here, go back and watch that. It's a new video that I've been in a war. Again, that's not the right word, but the Gwyneth Paltrow clan is real.
You went slightly viral.
Yeah, I had a damn good tweet. It's up to like 42,000 views now.
Oh, so it may be full on viral.
42,000 views.
That's double. That's double what it was when you told me about it.
Yeah, it's
Holy
definitely
shit.
slowed down. But everybody, thank you so much. Join Twitter. Use it all. Shit, I don't know. I'm late. It's late as hell. Thank you.
Peers and beers, gang, baby.
Miranda, why do you play a video but talk over it? Well, I mean, you might not like this channel. That happens a lot. That's a pretty regular thing here, especially for the reaction videos.
And we make
And are
an
you
effort.
new to YouTube? Because that's basically all of YouTube.
Yeah. Stevie makes an effort to pause it when we talk.
I try to. I definitely try to.
But I mean, it doesn't happen always, you know. And the audio may not be mixed perfectly either, to where we are being heard over top, or maybe that's what you don't want. You want the video to be heard over us. I don't know, but
I don't know. You really
when you're
can't please
doing
everybody.
commentary on a video that live and drinking, that's what happens, you know.
Yeah, it gets wild in here, it's a crazy stream.
This is not a professionally edited video. This is a live stream. Keep that in mind.
And it's very interactive at Publicly Buzzed. We interact heavily with our crowd, so
yeah,
you might not dig the channel if you don't dig what you've seen. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the hell out of it. El Guapo tomorrow. I suck at ending things, but we're ending this son of a bitch right now. Dan, you got anything to add?
I hope everybody has a good night. And if you are not trying to go to bed yet and you want to hang out still,
Discord.
Discord.
Thank you guys so much.